Hey, what's up, folks? How's everybody doing? Let's see. It's Andrew's here, was here. Cindy will be back. Hey, Blue Crossroads. If you fall asleep, that's okay. Hey, it happens. All good. Hey, there's Andrew. Hello, Andrew. How you doing tonight? Now, guys, forgive me. My voice, my throat's still screwed up from getting as sick as I got, so I'm still kind of on the voice. Hello, Miss Cindy, Miss Norris. I'm always doing. I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. You have to forgive me, like I said, I'm still recovering. Though I got some work done today, since I didn't get work done for 2 days. So I'm just going to chill with you guys tonight and watch a couple of these videos, and then we'll go from there. I'm hoping Aunt Edna stops in tonight. She got me this really nice necklace. I don't know if you can see it. If you saw it on Facebook, it's a dragon. Let me take it off. It's nice. Yes. Hello, Andrew. Let me. I won't be able to put it back on. My hands are not working great either. Ah, it's nice. I like it. I like the gem in it, or stone, or whatever you want to call it, the crystal. It's nice. I gotta. If you don't show up tonight, I'm gonna have to. It fell off. Y'all have to watch the chain too, because I don't know if there's nickel in it. And I'm kind of allergic to nickel, but see if I can show this to you. Focus this. See if it will focus. Come on, focus. Focus. But it's a dragon. The crystal in it's really nice. Let me put it over here. But I may have to change the necklace on it. Hey, Miss Pixie. How you doing, dear? Yeah, it's really nice. I was really like shocked. It was very sweet of her. So if she stops in tonight, I got to make sure I thank her. And I'll send her pictures of it because she wasn't sure what it looked like when she sent it. So I'll make sure I got pictures of it. So I'm going to send it to her and let her know I got it. And I appreciated it. It's really nice of her. It was really sweet. I used to getting gifts. I'm more of the giving guy. So when I get something, it kind of blows me away sometimes. Good. I'm glad you're doing good. Yeah, we'll start the video here around 12:30 or so. I'll let, like I always do, let everybody come in and say their hellos and chat a little bit. Yeah, I actually got some work done today. I didn't do much Thursday or Friday. Well, Friday I ended up playing. Hello, Mark. Friday I ended up playing Mortal Kombat with a couple people that I was not in the best way to be playing, but they were kicking my butt. So I am good, go Mark. Ghosty is good. I'm just hanging. I hope you're good too. I appreciate it when you say good morning to me in the morning. That's real nice of you, sir. Now, forgive me too. I got into a little bit of stuff out in the yard and I'm wheezing a little bit. My allergy medicine just didn't kick in like it should have. But I hope everybody is having a good night. Anybody have anything exciting going on? I've kind of missed you guys last night. I kind of laid here and kind of watched a movie going, well, I should have streamed, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. So we got five, big 4 or 5. Somebody left. Goodbye. See ya. No, just kidding. That's what it's all about. Come and go as you please. I'm not worried about it. Love you guys. Either way you come, coming or going, it's always nice to see everybody. Oh, and a couple quick changes. We are moving oracles till Friday night. So from now on, Oracle will be on Friday nights, 7. We'll start at 7:15 and go to about 11. So, kids in school now, so she needs that Wednesday. Hold on one second here. But yeah, she'll need that Wednesday. So Oracle is now moving to Friday nights, and then we'll fill in the blanks as we go. And it will start the regular time, 7:15 until about 11. Try to get your name in by 10. That way she can finish up and hopefully have time to spare. You know how she likes to talk, bless her heart. And that's what makes that stream so good, because she talks to you guys. I go around and check all these other things. There's only a few that talk to their people, and she's one of them. Does that start this week? Yes, I believe it will start Friday. I'm pretty sure that's what she said, Friday. And I'm sure I'll let you guys know, and she'll let you know during the week. But I do believe it is happening on Friday, this Friday. Hello, Jules. Did she not get you fixed yet, hon? I don't know what happened that Wednesday night, how you got booted out of there. I was trying to figure it out. I'm going to start practicing guitar. There you go. My brother's got a hollow body that belonged to my great grandpa Griffey when he used to play bluegrass down in Kentucky. That's nice. It's worth money. Still sounds so good. But yeah, everything was so. Remember, Friday nights now. I'll make sure it gets repeated a number of times. So it is Friday nights. She does have a video coming out Monday for a premiere, and that's at 11. And she actually has it up on YouTube, so I'll flash it probably in between videos, and then again at the end of the night. Yeah. Huh, you left-handed axe. I'm missing some of the chat. I'm too busy tacking. Tacking. I'm too busy tacking. Yeah, so yeah, it will start this week, Friday. Like I said, I'll make sure everybody gets reminded. But yeah, with the kid in school, she's got to have that Wednesday night. So, and I get it. And we'll make it work. Maybe we'll fill that night in. Maybe I won't, maybe I'll stop streaming on Friday nights and I'll stream on Wednesday night instead. That way you guys have somebody to pick on for a little while. And then still do the Gemma replays on Saturday nights. And then when we're done with all those, we'll just do what we usually do. I'll be your axe lady. I'm back. There you go. Cool breeze. I was going to say, usually it's just temporary, so you should be able to come back. Cherry red and blues. Huh? I can do a Wednesday night spot. Hey, if you want to, talk to her about it. Oh, hell, it's Blue. If you really wanted to, we could stream together. I know you're laughing, and we don't have to talk about your stuff. You know, I'm probably one of the few people that probably don't ask a whole lot of questions, because I have friends that kind of have the same credentials as you. I've got 4 of them, and 2 of them still work for the government. One's overseas right now. So I kind of get it. I've heard a little bit, so I kind of get why, you don't like to ask, well, you're not really able to answer questions. So I get it. Wouldn't say I was one of the few. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I'm just saying because I know people who have the same type of credentials as you, well, close to it. So, and one of my friends works for cyber, so, and they don't talk a whole lot. So they're like you, Blue. You can only ask so far of a question, as I said. Yeah, Wednesday night. I'm thinking I'll be here. If we'll work something out, because I know, she tries to keep her. Now that we got this going on, she tries to keep it as regular as possible. Like I said, I felt bad about last night, but I just needed the night. I mean, I left Wednesday night stream and I was a hurting puppy dog. A lot worse than I thought. Again, Wednesday night variety show, we could do something like that. Maybe let people come on and talk as long as they can behave themselves. Hell, I can't even behave myself sometimes. Here, let me. My nose is draining faster than I can deal with. There you go. You guys can jam together. Did you get your grass done? Yes, I did get the grass cut. I did it probably not much after you said good morning to me. That's what I was getting ready to do. So, yeah. Got that done. Got some yard cleaned up. Worked a little bit on the inside of the house. Made dinner. I made chicken cordon bleu with bacon wrap. That was fun. Took me a little bit of time, but it turned out really good. And then I just kind of hung out the rest of the night and chilled out and piddled around. Played a little bit of games and tried to catch up on a couple games I was playing. Oh, did you? I saw that the one with the drum set, the Pink Floyd one. That's a cool shirt. Nice. Yep. You can play a little Mid Eastern drum or sing Irish pub songs. There you go. I can bang my head on a bass like I used to do in the punk band. Good old days. I'm just trying to make sure I got everything going here. I think I even got the video ready. Make sure here. Yep, it ought to do is, yep. Oops, what did it do that for? That butthead. Why did it do that? Hold on one sec. Thought I had to, oh, there it is. Okay, cool breeze. Yeah, I believe one of these is yours, Blue. One of the, I think you got one or two stories in one of these, don't you? In either 6 or 7. You know, Blue, it's sad. My Grandpa Griffey played in a bluegrass, and he played backup for a couple people in the day. And he left us a bunch of instruments. The hollow body, I believe it's a hollow body. I don't know. It's a Gibson. I don't know what it is. It's old. It is old, but it's a hollow body, and it's nice. I mean, my brother Tim's got that, and then he left a horn, and I believe a fiddle, which my aunt got, and then we had a mandolin that I wanted to learn how to play so bad, but it was like super old, and it had one of the electric slides so you can play electric, and had a slide bar in it so you can amplify it. It was old, beautiful, and I wish I had it. Well, my little brother, stole it and sold it. No, Dad still peeves up crap about that. 7 has the first alien face-to-face encounter I had. Oh, really? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I knew it was one of them. I remember you saying it was one of them. I just can't remember. I know mine's not until like 13 or 14. I think mine's like 14 or 15, maybe 14, 15, 16. They're in there. They're up higher. You can play the juice harp. I can play the comb wrapped in Reynolds. Was it saran wrap? But yeah, I'm just watching people come in. I always like to check both chats. It's like I said, it's so weird how everything works on this. But it's sometimes, like I said, there's people that show up in one chat and don't in the Steam yard, and then they don't show up in Facebook. I meant Facebook, in YouTube, or they'll show up in YouTube and don't show up in Facebook. Steam yard. Facebook's on my brain. I like to stream on that one time too, but Gemma all situated, and hopefully we can start. I want to run some of her videos on Rumble first for a while and see how they do. See, make sure she doesn't get harassed too bad. But from what I've seen, everybody's been pretty polite. I mean, you're going to have trolls wherever you go. But I got to be able to sit down with her and do everything, show her how to transfer everything over. And then I may on my I have my own channel already over there. I haven't done anything with it, but I think I'm gonna do some graveyard walkthroughs down here and post those on Rumble and see how they do. Maybe just walk through the cemetery, show everybody where my encounter happened when my hair turned white. And then I think one night, like I said, I keep saying I'm going to do it now that it's getting to the perfect time. One night I'll stream out back with the fire going, kind of do a Long Island Bigfoot, but unfortunately I won't be camping. I'll be out in my backyard. But I'll try to face the camera toward the cemetery, which will be hard because I'm like 3 houses away and there's fences. But I'll make sure I start early. I mean, I'll make sure I try to light stuff up a little bit. So, and then I think one time when me and her stream, I'm not going to tell her. I'm just going to be sitting in the cemetery because I checked the other day and my Wi-Fi does actually reach down there, so I should be able to do it. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting too. Ghost. Oh, wait till I see it on the bigger screen here. Hey, Ghosty, I have a video of something exceptionally odd. Morphe, I think. Is it possible I can send it to you and have you take a quick look at it and tell me what you think? Yes, you can send that to me. The best way to send that to me is in an email. I'll put my email here. I believe. Well, here, let me do this. I'm typing in the wrong place. I don't want to use Gemma's name. Here's my email address. Send it there. It's also, if you go to, click my thing and go to my profile on here on YouTube, my email address is in there too. Just send it to me and I'll look it over. I'll tell you what I think. And then I'll send it to Gemma too. Yeah, I'm kind of going over some things for Edna too. Checking into some things, looking into some of the stuff that I had to deal with. Great. Thank you so much. Yes, you're welcome. I heard that LIB is coming to a high, I think around the end of the month. Well, if he is, I'm going to have to hunt him down and light his campfire for him. Yeah, if he's coming to Ohio, maybe I'll try to hook up with him. Depends on where he comes at. He's probably going to show up at Zanesville in the triangle there where the grass man's seen the most. And I guarantee you, from what I'm hearing, it's been interesting over there. So they've had a lot of UFO sightings east and west of us out in the country. So, and just on the outskirts of here, Columbus. So we'll see what happens. Heck, he may not even want me there. I show up at places and weird shit starts to happen. And I'm cussing, yes. So I'm sorry. I'm sure if Iris hears me, he'll come in and tell me to stop. But yeah, this is one of the reasons I love this state is wonderfully weird Ohio. People give Ohio a lot of crap, but we're pretty. If you really walk around it, I mean, there's areas that just like any place else that got their problems, but pretty much most people are pretty laid back. Look at Connor. He's about as laid back of an Ohioan I've ever met. Probably one of the. No, actually, he's pretty much typical with a lot of the guys I know. Anything else happening, folks? Everybody's kind of coming and going, so that's all right. Checking us out. We're at 6. And we'll start here in about 10 minutes. Ohio is good morning in Japanese. Yes, it is. Wow. Yeah, I got to get a hold of my cousin. My cousin, Susan, is an interpreter for Honda here in Ohio. She grew up in Japan. Her father's half Japanese, and he designed huge diesel and construction equipment there. And when I went to Japan, I went in August because that's when they had school out where she went. See, they only get 1 month of school. One month of summer, more or less, is when they were going. So I got to spend the month of August there. I wish I'd learned more Japanese, but I have a speech issue anyway. So learning another language has always been kind of hard for me. I keep trying now. I don't give up. No, I haven't. Mark, have you seen anything from Chris Jarvis? I haven't seen Chris for a while either. So I will probably check on him. I haven't been around in any of the other chats. So I'm kind of hoping he shows up tonight. I do have his number if I need to check on him. So, he gets busy and he has things. So I always try to give people a little time. But if I don't hear from him here soon, I probably will check on him. I mean, he's just right down there in Cincy. I know exactly pretty much where he's at. I know he was trying to find a new place to live. And and house chores is what I've been doing all day. Since I didn't do nothing Thursday and Friday. Thursday was just awful. But Wednesday night, I don't remember anything. All I remember is getting sick in the bathroom, cleaning it up. And after I cleaned up, I kind of stood there in the bathroom. And next thing I know, we're all over myself. I didn't even change after the stream yet. I was still wearing my tie and everything. No, all over myself. That was the last thing I remember. Next thing I know, well, I kind of faintly remember being moved around. And then next thing I know, I woke up in the bed. And my phone being rang. And my phone woke me up, which was good because I needed to get up and get moving. I didn't move very far. I need an attitude adjustment. Uh-oh. I got a hammer if you need help with that. So, yeah, I'll check on Chris. I'll give him till like Monday. Sometimes he disappears for a while and then he comes back. So give him a little time. But like I said, I haven't really been able to hang out in much chats since I got sick. So I just kind of pop in, say hi, and kind of fiddle around tonight. I don't stay too long. A lot of them I've been catching toward the end. Yeah, you think you just sent it, you hope. Well, let me check. And I will tell you if I got it. And the question is, did I get it? Okay, I got your email. Hold on. But I did not get the video. So you have the right email. Just put the video with it. Let me take care of this real fast. Put that away before I forget. There we go. Okay, there we go. Yes, I did get the email. Go back the way I had it. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Huh? There we go. Okay. I did get the email, Jules, but I didn't get the video. So what you have to do is, click the little um, paper clip and add the file to it. But you got the right email, so you know I got it, so you can send it. Ghosty, have you been spending too much time? Actually, I've been sitting Thursday and Friday. I didn't sit in that cave too long. I got out and sat and enjoyed the day. Just didn't do a whole lot. Piddled around the house. I mean, Thursday and Friday Thursday was bad. A lot worse. Just felt groggy and I was sluggish. And then Friday morning, I felt pretty crappy, but it got better as the day went. But again, by nightfall, I was slumming, man. Like I said, I probably would have gotten a little something done Friday if I wouldn't have stopped and played Mortal Kombat with a couple of people. But it was nice to know it kind of took my mind off of stuff. So feeling like crap. See, the problem is when I get sick, I don't get sick. Even when the coof was going around and stuff, I got sick, I think like 3 or 4 days. I think it may have lasted a week. And I was done with it. I haven't been sick since. My mom always said, it's like you get sick every 3 years, Steve. And once you get sick, it's bam, 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 3 days tops, and it's really bad. And then you're good for another 3 years. And she says, the only thing you ever deal with is your body, the Tourette's. Well, back then we didn't know what it was. And I get a lot of ear infections. And that's it. But like I said, once I'm sick, I'm down and I recover pretty good. And it's usually 2 or 3 days, I'm back rolling again. Same thing when surgery. Usually at 24 hours to 48 hours after surgery, I'm up and moving. My body won't stay down. So. Oh, yeah. When I have been around, I haven't seen him. But like I said, I know he's looking for a place. And if I don't hear from him again, I will check on him. Like I said, I always give people a couple of days, because people has life. Not everybody can hang out and chat all the time. Things go on. So I always give that respect. I try to look at both sides. And if I don't see somebody for like 3 or 4 days, then I go looking. Because, a lot of you people I only know on the internet, so I don't know what type of life you have outside this. So I try to give everybody, hey, I'll give you the time. And then I was kind of hoping that Edna shows up tonight. If not, like I said, I'll email her tomorrow because I'm started an email for her already. I just want to make sure I send her facts and some good suggestions. I'm sure Blue's probably got a few too. So the poor girl, her purse. There ain't nothing worse than somebody hanging around when you're trying to sleep. Trying to hang around when you're trying to sleep. So, hey, we're up to 8 people. So, hello, 8 people. Welcome. We'll start the video here pretty soon. I try not to talk to them because I can get away with not talking through the video on her channel since it's her video. So I get away with not just letting it play and just sitting and watching chat and watching a video with you. A lot of these never got that premiere video kind of kickoff, so this is kind of nice too. And also, folks, and the folks that are listening and watching, if you got encounters, send them to Gemma, and I'm going to put her address in here, her email address. Yeah, please send them to Gemma. She wants to do a new one. We're way due for a new one. So I think I'm going to send her a couple. And now that I have all my books back. I did that already, you doofus. I'm still out of whack a little bit. There we go. There's her email address. Yeah, if you guys got encounters, please send them to her. And when they're, one bar. Just let her know these are encounter. It's your encounter. Wow, YouTube just took me out. You know, the night Wednesday night, no, was it Tuesday when we were streaming with Mike? When I left at the end, I didn't leave at the end. I got booted. I mean, I literally got booted out of that stream at the end there. I was like, next thing I know, I'm off stream. I mean, I was completely off StreamYard. I'm like, what the heck just happened? And I knew by the time I get back, she'd be off. So I just, okay. And it happens. You know, a lot of the people are having problems streaming YouTube, on streaming StreamYard on Google, and I haven't had a problem. I also use a VPN and everything else too. I got all kinds of safeguards going on. So I mean, it might be the deal. Though I know sometimes my internet's wacky, but I'm on Wi-Fi. I would rather be hooked up to a modem with my PC. I may get my own and pay for it, so that way I have a better connection. And I want to get her a booster so she has a little better internet service, so it helps her internet a little bit better. But yeah, down to 7 people. Come on, folks, come in so we can start this. I like to start it with a little bit more. We're at 12:30 now. Blue must have fell asleep. Maybe I shouldn't have asked about Chris. No, you're good. That's good. Maybe Chris kicked you off. He's sneaky too. Yeah. It's all right. Nope, you didn't fall asleep yet. Yeah. Actually, I've slept, but it's since I got sick. When I do sleep, it's like a couple solid hours, even though my bed's trashed. I'm out in the middle of the floor. But since I've been sick, it's been like little cat naps of like 15 minutes all night long. It's like I go to sleep and I wake up rocking. Go to sleep, wake up rocking. It's like, okay. So I'm kind of hoping. There she is. Hey, look, honey. I'll send you pictures of it, Edna. But I got it. This camera doesn't. I need to get one that focuses a little better. But I got it. It's gorgeous. Let's see if I can get that. Let me do this. Maybe this will help. I don't know if it will or not. But get a better angle. I got it. It does have a chain. I took it off the chain, trying to take it off. It's gorgeous, hon. Thank you. It's very, very nice. And nice. The dragon is really cool. And it's got a nice big. The chain, I like the chain, but I'm allergic to nickel. And I don't know if this is nickel, so I'm going to wear it a day to see if yeah, I hate buying stuff too, but it does. It's really nice. The crystal or the gem or whatever you want to call it is really nice. It doesn't look fake. I'll have somebody check it to make sure you didn't get ripped off, but it is really nice. I like it a lot. I had the chain on for a while, and then I took it off to show you guys, and it comes off the chain pretty easy. But these type of chains, the problem is, like I said, I'm highly allergic to nickel, and I'm going to wear it for a day, and I'll know in a day if it's got a lot of nickel in it, because I'll literally break out real bad around my neck. And if it is, I'll buy a real nice, either a rope like this is, or I don't want to get a gold chain, but I'll get an all silver chain if I can't find a nice rope. But it is gorgeous. I'm very pleased. Thank you, Aunt. And I do appreciate it. And I'm working on your email right now. It should be a real stuff. It looks real. It feels real. It's real heavy. It's a nice heavy piece. Yes, and I will wear it, honey. Thank you so much. Yeah, it is. It's neat. It is really. My son was like, "That's really cool," and I said, "Yeah, it is. It's got a real nice look to it." Um, my son was holding up in the sunlight, and it was really nice looking when you hold up to it. But yeah, it's nice. It's good and heavy. Somebody comes at me, I can whack them with it. No, that would protect me for sure. But yeah, I really like it. Thank you so much. And I am working on your email. I want to make sure I send you good suggestions. I'm doing a little research on what she might be dealing with because there's so many things. I don't need. Actually, you make it sound like I'm. No, I'm pretty good, dude. I take pretty good care of myself. It's just my body always wants to do the opposite. But that's been like that since I was 2 years old. So, and I, like I said, I don't get sick a whole lot. Now, the food poisoning, that's a different story. And I got it. I'm pretty sure it was the eggs. I probably will never order eggs from a restaurant again, to be quite honest, because of that. See, my son got steak and eggs at Bob Evans once, and he literally came home and got sick. You know that one? The Stone, you know this? If I do this, I'm going to see something. I don't know if, without blinding you guys, let me see if I can do something real quick. This is how I always like to. It doesn't really pass through. It doesn't really pass through. But I was trying to get a little better light on it. But it's really nice. It's got kind of a purplish blue tint to it. It's real nice. Looks like on. See, okay, it's nice. And the dragon himself it's got a nice weight to it. They hung on my neck most of the day, so I didn't break out. I usually give it 24 hours, and then I know. Yep, grounding and protection. Cool breeze. Again, thank you. And I mean, it came today. I was like, what did I get a package for? Oh, and just so you know, this is the box it came in, which I really like too. It came in this really fancy box. Hold on, my hand. Yeah, unstrap it. And it had this really neat box. Here's your. There's a card that came with it, and then this came with it, and a little sticker. It was really nice. I really like this box. I have a thing for boxes. Don't ask me why, but I like little boxes and stuff. So I will. This will be used really well. Oh, put my guy there. See what I miss here. It's a black Onxie. Should help heal and. But thank you. I like it. It looks real good. I mean, my son was going, this is cool as crap. Yeah, he took, she sent me a toothless Orbison dragon, and he bugged me for months and months that he was going to take it. And I was going to order him one, and I was like, no, go ahead. If you really want it that bad and you really need it that bad, you can have it. So I gave it to him. I wanted the stone and the dragon's face. Looked so cool. I saw it and thought of you. Well, thank you very much. It is really cool. It is a neat piece. And it's a nice, and it's a good guy piece too. So, you know, a guy wouldn't be ashamed to wear something like this. You know how guys are. But it's nice. I mean, my camera doesn't want to really focus, but it is nice. I like it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She did everything I asked. I wanted the box. Yeah, I wanted the box too. I wanted the box too. Yeah, the box was nice. I liked the box. And see, it came with a card. Mm, it came with a card. Didn't have nothing on the inside, but did come with a card. No, it was really nicely packaged. Um, and it was really nicely packed in this box, so it wasn't a bouncing around. I was really pleased. Thank you so much. You people are amazing. And like I said, I'm so used to being the one given that it freaks me out when people do this too. And it just kind of messes with my head. But I appreciate it so much. So we're going to get started on the video here soon. But we seem to have a good conversation, but we'll start it here soon. When everybody's ready for the video, just let me know and I'll just go ahead and start it. But yeah, I liked it. Thank you so much. You got your money's worth, I would say. And it got here in reasonable time. You were worried about it taking forever, and it actually made good time coming across the water. So I've ordered stuff across seas that's literally taken months. So that's a good thing. But let me cue up the video so when we're ready, we got it rocking. I think I got it pretty much ready to go here. Where is it at? It's right here. Pause. Stop. Oh, now it's going to play the don't do this. There we go. I may have to turn YouTube off. Yeah, but let me try this. Don't do that. Okay, let me try. We want it. I don't know why it's wanting to. There we go. Okay. Okay. And if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and do this then. I'm just killing time and avoiding sleep. Man, I wish I could avoid sleep. Sounds good. Sounds like everybody's ready. I think I got it. I had to shrink it because it wouldn't let me send. Oh, that's possible, especially if you're sending it from your phone. So let me check, make sure. I'll do that before we start the video. Okay. See. Okay, I got it. I'll look at it. I'll look at it later. There you go. You sent it. I got it. You're good to go, Jules. I got you covered. I'll look at it probably sometime tomorrow. I want to finish Edna's email. Like I said, I'm checking out a few things, talking to a couple people. Talking to my friend Patricia. She's like Gemma, a lot like Gemma. I've known Patricia ever since church, and I'm talking basically grew up together. She's more like a sister to me. She's a spiritualist and into all that stuff, and she's got some pretty strong gifts herself. And she's kind of one of my helpers. Well, hello. What are we ready for? I'm going to show on Saturday nights, Sunday mornings, whatever you want to say, at midnight, we do Gemma's replay. And lately I've just been showing listener encounters in order. Like we've been averaging 2 a night. So tonight we're going to watch listener encounters 6 and 7. I believe blues is in 7. And that's what we're doing. Oh, and like I said, I want to repeat. And so you know, and because you came in late and a couple people came in late, we're Gemma is switching oracle readings, 1-card oracle readings, to Friday nights now. She, with the boy being back in school, it will be too hard and too much of a rush for the Wednesday night because he's got to be up in the morning. So Friday nights at 7:15, same time slot, just Friday nights now, and it is start. Oh, you're leaving work soon? Okay. It'll be the same slide, and it is starting this week. So that would be, Friday the 8th, right? Yes, Friday the 8th is when it starts. Same time slot, just on Fridays now. Leaving work soon. Oh, you're happy. But we'll get this baby going. I got your email, Jules. You're good to go. Check it out. I'm gonna send this email probably sometime tomorrow evening. I'm hoping I have to talk to one more person, and Patricia's gonna call me back. Probably, if I know her, she'll probably call me about noon. So, and give me the information I need. So there you go. So let's start this sucker. See if I can get this rocking. Okay, this is another 2-year-old video. And let's see, and it's about 13 minutes long, so it's a short one. It will go fast. And let me get it all rocking and rolling here. Boom, boom. Okay, put me down at the bottom and the bottom and the bottom. I'm going to the bottom. There we go. On the super guy now. We'll screen this. There we go. We look good there. Okay. I have 2 things going up, so that's why you're not getting a full. Okay, let's do this. And I won't be in YouTube chat. I don't like using Cindy's StreamYard. So if you have something to say, just throw a thumb up or wave or say, hey, ghost. And pause it. But let's do this.
Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome.
And listen to her ramble.
What
What'd I do?
Welcome back to guys. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just
funny. Yeah, she looks good here. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh well, life goes on. Here we go. Oh, we love to listen to her ramble. So she says she made the comment she didn't be showing the ramblings, but that's what it's all about, man.
Welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we have Listener Encounters Volume 6. Now, I also filmed my budget home and beauty under $15 for this month wearing this same shirt. I apologize, but I'm filming so many videos today. It's like I can't just keep changing like that. You know, you get that little makeup line on your shirts when you keep taking them on and off. You know what I mean. You know. So without further ado, because I have so much to do, I just want to jump in and get started because these are great. Of course, our first encounter is from our very own Jason Zorn, and you know how much we love him. He has had so many paranormal and supernatural encounters and experiences, and every time I see his name pop up, I am going to eventually give him his own video. It's going to take some time to put that together, but I can't stop putting them in the regular videos because he's just so much fun, and I have so much fun reading them. The title of it is Not Exactly the Best Deer Hunting Story. True. 1986, first week of October. In Texas, that means get your guns out and find a hunting spot. My family had 3 plots of land. My grandpa had roughly 60 acres. My grandma had an area of about 88 acres known as the Bizzle property. Right next to that was an area of land called Uncle Booby's land. I always stayed out of that piece of property. It was next to a swamp and had lots of dark forest and just basically felt overall creepy. Now, let it be known that in 1986, I had no idea that Sasquatches or any other kind of cryptids lived in the great state of Texas. I always thought it was just like a California thing for some reason. Maybe Sasquatches are fond of nice weather and beaches and girls in bikinis. Hell, I don't know. So the idea of Sasquatches living in Texas was pretty much an alien idea to me. Opening day of deer season, I have my Remington 12 gauge shotgun, double aught buckshot loaded, a 357 Magnum revolver on my side, an old timer buck knife on my belt, about 4 pounds of ammunition in my pockets, and probably a half a pack of cigarettes. So I'm ready for war. Not enough cigarettes, Jason. For some weird reason, I chose that day to go into Uncle Booby's land to hunt. From around, say, 9 in the morning until around noon, I saw nothing. So bored, I almost fell asleep in my deer stand. Nothing. I got down from the deer stand, lit a cigarette, and decided that I was just going to call it a day and go back to Pawpaw's house. A thundering of hoofbeats filled the air, coming from the trailhead directed from the swamp. A buck came crashing to a halt and paused to look directly at me. He was breathing really hard, like he'd been running for a very long time. I instinctively raised my shotgun and opened fire. He fell like a bag of rocks. Jason goes on to explain that this deer was 7 points, and he went into great detail about how he put it out of its misery. But unfortunately, I don't want to say all of those details here and get myself demonetized or in trouble. Too heavy. I dropped the buck's back leg, breathing hard. Okay, screw this. I'm going to get Pawpaw. I passed through the gate onto the oil top road and darted to Pawpaw's house, throwing the door open, Pawpaw sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee. Pawpaw, I just got one. Got one what, boy? An ass whipping? Because that's what you're about to get coming here. I got a buck, a 7 point, I said. You saying you shot a deer, boy? Yes, sir, I replied. He put his cup of coffee down on the table, reached over for his Stetson hat, put it on, and said, get in the truck. We came to the gate of Uncle Booby's land. I got out of the truck and opened the gate. We rolled up to the place I told Pawpaw the deer was. We both got out, and I walked where I knew I had left the buck, but it wasn't there. You sure you shot a deer, boy? Pawpaw asked. Yes, sir, I did. All right, he replied, taking his hat off and scratching his bald head. Are you sure it was dead? Absolutely, positively sure, I answered. By now I was growing angry. I continued to scan the land around us, finding nothing. My eyes eventually caught the sight of something tan and white in the bushes back near the trailhead, and it was my deer, hanging in the branches of the bushes. There it is, I pointed. Pawpaw shook his head. Well, that's a far cry from where you said you left it, but let's go get it. As we gathered the carcass of the buck, I remember Pawpaw mumbling words like damn woolly boogers and catamounts, and I didn't have a clue what he was even talking about, but he obviously knew what had dragged my deer away. Finally ended this story. Only took me like a month, but I have tons more coming. Thank you so much, Jason. I always appreciate when you send in your stories because they're so vibrant and full of life. They literally come alive. It took me like 4 takes to do the ass whooping scene. The ass whooping sentence. It was just hilarious. Thank you, as always, for sharing this part of yourself with us in this community. Our next story is from our friend Denitsa, who is always in the live streams with us. So if you're with us there or you're a regular, then you know who Denitsa is. She says, my name is Antonio Luis Alejo, and I live in San Antonio, Texas, but was born in Dayton. I'll start by telling you my true story in my life. I just want to say this has content about someone taking their own life, so I am going to edit it down just a little bit to not have those elements in here, but you're still going to hear the entire story just in a little bit different words. Denitsa, I really hope you don't mind, but I don't want to get myself in trouble. I had severe depression in school and in home. My relationships in both home and school and grades. Home life was obscure and didn't promote aspiration. My brother was a dick because he felt as if he was under a shadow. School was no different. My grades weren't showing improvement. I was in an ultimately new environment with nothing and nobody to lay my head to. I couldn't ask for help because it's my problem. And if I did get help, voices in my head just dropped every light that was brought to me. I grabbed my dad's box cutter pocket knife and skipped all of school the next day. And after lunch, I went out to the back of the school to an empty field and started to, this person cut themselves. They also say I cursed and questioned God. I looked up and saw a dark bone, like shadowy figure in the trees, acting and looking at me pensively and also shy to see if I would go along and die. But he went away and I stopped. So there's my story and encounter with the spirits or guider of spirits of the afterlife, and hope you will post it. So I want to know though, what do you actually think these were? You say, so there's my story and encounter with the spirits or guider of spirits of the afterlife, and hope you will post it. Guider of the spirits of the afterlife. Do you think that that was kind of an angel of death lurking, something spiritual, as you said? Or do you think it was something being called forth, something evil that perhaps was in the woods or in the back of this school that was hungry and thirsty for blood and death, and then when you didn't do it, it just took off? I would love for you to explain more what this figure looked like. Denitsa, Antonio, I'm not sure what the name difference is there, but either way, thank you so much for sharing your story, your encounter. If you have any more, please send them in. Guys, let me know what you think about that one in the comments. So yay, thank you. I'm not clapping because you felt this depressed. I'm clapping because you trusted me enough with this encounter. Our next encounter is also from Denitsa, but I think this one is actually from Denitsa and the other one was from someone using her account. Denitsa, can you clear that up for me, please? My name is Denitsa Miranda Monica Sueves, but I go by Monica. I will start by saying that I believe in paranormal activity. Back in my childhood, there were many incidents where I felt and saw many things moving. It became a heavy atmosphere around me. This happened back home in my home country of origin in the historical city of La Paz. I was only 5 or 6 years old when these things started to happen. I lived with my grandparents in my home, which felt spooky. My grandparents and almost everybody who lived there could feel a presence. So, what we decided to do was to call a priest or shaman to get the house blessed. But after 5 times, it seemed like the spirits were attached to the house and the spirit couldn't be lifted. We still had a heavy presence of ghosts and spirits of the home, and we decided to sell the house, move away from the neighborhood. Nevertheless, I could still feel the spirits roaming around me. After, when we moved to the new house, my sleep became a nightmare, and after the fact, I began to discover that I had the gift to feel ghosts like spirits. It projected to the point that it was driving me insane. I could never get away from that feeling. So, there is my true story about my strong personal interaction with spirits. I hope you could tell my story in your videos and your channel because I would be so thankful to hear them. Kindly, Denitza Monica Miranda Suevez in San Antonio, Texas, USA. Denitza, I love the story, but I need more deets, man. What kind of entities were you seeing? What are you experiencing now? I know a lot of the times for me, now that I've opened myself up and have done so much work honing my psychicness, as I like to call it, I can't get a break. They talk to me in the shower. They appear to me when I'm trying to go to sleep. I'll be eating dinner with my son and one's lurking in the corner. But I got to tell you, I'm to the point in my life where I love it right now after fearing these things and blocking them out and building up this completely impenetrable, I guess, wall to block my light for so long. And now that I've opened it back up, it's crazy. So I want to know, what did you see? What did you hear? What kind of specific things did you experience? Send them in. I really would love to know. And I also want to know who else sent the other story on your account. Only because I got confused because I know your name's not Antonio, but it said Denitza. We don't care. We're all a big dysfunctional family here and everybody is welcome. So all I have left, guys, are stories from Jason, and I want to beef up this video a little bit. If you have any of these encounters, if I missed any of them, please let me know, because I feel like a lot of you are telling me you're sending them and then I'm just not seeing them. I think I might have to set up yet another email just for encounter stories. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that. So look for that in a coming video, or I'll talk about it in the live stream. The name of this one is I Watched This. It was late 2018. I was sitting outside, just having a beer, trying to unwind. Fort Worth, Texas, the sun had gone down, stars were out. I could clearly see the constellation of Orion. I noticed the blue and green light in the western sky. My first thought was, oh, that's a commercial airline passing over. Any aircraft passing over is going to do so and be out of sight within minutes. But this didn't. It stayed roughly in the same spot for about 10 minutes and then would move slowly to the left, and its colors would change, and then it'd move to the right, and its colors would change, and I'd see smaller lights separate from the major light. The smaller lights would blink and then dissipate. This happened over and over again. I watched the object for over 45 minutes in total, and then it departed to the west and south and was gone. So you saw some UFOs, Jason Zorn. Thank you for sharing that with us. Aliens and UFOs, believe it or not, still kind of scare me. So yeah. So Deb is getting ready to move. Our Deb B, who I am going to do a story on, but she said it's going to be a few weeks before she can get some in, and that is perfectly okay. So guys, while I thought we had more, that seems to be all I have for you today. Can you please send me more? Send me more. Feed me more. I want to know, but I want to know details, guys. Don't be afraid to put those details. What was it you saw? What did it look like? Did it say something to you? How did you feel when you saw it? I know that's crazy to ask someone who's maybe some of you who aren't used to the paranormal stuff, and that's fine. Send that stuff in, and the community and myself will try to help you out with it. But I need more encounter stories, guys, because aside from Jason Zorn's video, this is all that I have, and there will not be the next part unless you guys do your part and send some in to me. So with that being said, please give this video a big thumbs up. I'm sorry if it was a little bit on the shorter side, but you guys are the ones who give me the content for this, and I didn't want to wait anymore to put some of these out. Like, I was really excited to see Denise's name, everybody who sent stuff in, even Jason again. So give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy spending this time with me and hanging out with me. Spread the love by sharing this video, and make sure you're subscribed and your notification bells are on so you can be notified every time I post a video. Okay. Yes. Also, please be sure and check out the description box for some important links. Justice for Caleb Smith, the interview with April Arrington on missing persons and mysteries that Steve Stockton and I did for 2 hours live. Please go and check that out. Justice for Caleb Smith. Let's get her some help with private investigators, lawyers. We want a billboard. We want justice. We want justice. We want April to not have to investigate the death of her own child anymore, and for someone in the position of authority to actually do their jobs and help her. And we're not going to stop until we get it. Justice for Caleb and Keeslin. Also, the 3 live streams Steve Stockton and I do every week: Sunday night fireside chat from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and Friday night campfire stories from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, are both on missing persons and mysteries. And Wednesday nights, we have a new live stream on this channel right here, Gemma Jade. So please come and check it out. It's from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. Dezombified is on hiatus, and we're doing it. So far, it's tentatively titled It's Not a Talk Show. It's a little bit of kind of everything, things, stuff, things. And also in the description box, there will be links to my PayPal and Patreon account if you want to make a financial donation to the channel. Guys, be kind to each other. Always choose kind, but also be kind to yourself. It costs nothing to be a good, nice, kind, sweet, patient, caring, compassionate, sensitive, understanding person. It's free. Smile at a stranger. Have your best day. Have your best night. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Turn on my mic first. Okay. Why does it do that? I hate when it does it. I had it all tagged. Poopy poop. So, hello, Shelly. How you doing, hon? I saw, yeah, it was kind of a bummer he passed. It was young, too. I mean, you wonder guys like that go, and then you wonder how Keith Richards is still alive. I believe I saw him at the Ohio State Fair, and I'm pretty sure it was in the early 80s. Hold on, I'm trying to find this other video so we have it ready to go. Take a little break. Let me cough again. It's not as much coughing, it's just clearing my throat. I really tore it up pretty bad. Come on. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, there it is. Get back to the bed. Okay, so talk a little bit before we start the next one. Last time I saw him was at Jiffy Lube Center in 2016. Some jack crap put his hot grill under his car. I've seen that happen at a tailgate party, and it was a mess. Did you test for the... Did you test for Rona, Ghost? Rona? No, I wasn't that kind of sick. If that's what you're asking. That was food poisoning. Pretty sure it was eggs. Yeah, no, I didn't need to. I knew what it was. It was it was the eggs. It was food poisoning. They told me it was salmonella at the hospital. This you're hearing is just from smoking and working in a lot of... I cleaned up a lot of leaves that had gathered on the side of the house that we hadn't gotten to yet because, you know, the fire made me clear my throat again. So, yeah. So, I had that when it first came out. I think it lasted like a week, not even that. And I was done with it. But everybody else caught it in the house and they were down. I was down for a couple of days, a little rough. But it also happened when I was going through a lot of surgeries too. So, because I actually stalled one of my surgeries at that time. May I ask, how many experiences here have twins in the family? It's just something I need to know. Thank you. I don't have twins in my family, not that I know of. And I'm probably... I know one other person in my family that may have gifts like mine. she doesn't talk about it. I just, every time I'm around her, I kind of feel it. But she doesn't talk about it. I try to get her to talk about it. Yeah, Arisha and Tanil are twins. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know if anybody else in this room is twin. Did it come in here or twins or not? Just those two. Where are you going, Anna? Your third one in 20 minutes on both sides. I missed the conversation there, but that's all right. I do. My mom is a twin, and I have twin granddaughters. Oh, really? Sometimes there are patterns when it comes to twins. And you're doing some research. There you go. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you find out things. I'm just letting chat talk for a little bit, then we'll start the next video. You got 10 watching. Hello, 10 people. How you doing tonight? I hope you're all good. We'll start the next video. I think that one is... Yeah. Come back, come back. And the next one's 40 minutes, 41 minutes, so it's a long one. So we'll start it here pretty soon. Oh, we're all connected. Everything's connected, honey. I could have told you that years ago. I learned that when I was young. Everything's connected. Everything is influenced by each other. Everything's part of one big organism, as I would like to say. You see, I believe everything is connected too. And in fact, everything is connected. I'm just going to say it outright. That's something I can state with fact. We're all connected. Everything's connected. Mm-hmm. I probably have twins somewhere. I'm always told that I look like somebody. Oh, so you have twins in your family too? Oh, and there's a picture I'm going to send you that was on Facebook of an owl that I'm going to say. For some reason, so when I saw this picture, I thought of you, just like you do with the dragon necklace, with your necklace. This picture I saw and I immediately thought of you. So when I send your email, that will be an attachment in it. Yeah, I was. Well, Cindy, this is Shelly for you. Her mind gets to going, man, and she gets to rattling. That's good, but it kind of confuses some people. But there's usually a reason for it with Shelly, so just go with it. A lot of twins out there. I didn't realize that so many people had connections to twins in this room or twins in the family. That's pretty wild. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up here. I'm kind of all of a sudden. Let's go ahead and start this next one since it's 40 minutes long. This has got Blue Story in it too, I believe. So let's do this. Get it up here. And then Ding Dong Me did that without. Okay. Boom. Boom. That's the one I want. There we go. There we go. And we're up and rocking. Everything looks good. Let's hit play.
Channel, and if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be doing Listener Encounters Volume 7. I cannot believe we're on Volume 7 already. I want to thank everyone who's been sending in content. I mean, in the past month, past couple weeks since I did the last video, I have gotten so many stories that have come in. I'm randomly choosing them. So if yours isn't in this one, it'll be in the next one, which is probably going to be next week. Or I may film it today and put 2 out this week, depending on how much time I have. I never know what my day is going to be like. I'm sorry about the sticky notes. I am in the middle of changing my setup. This right here is my green screen, which I'm going to open up and try to get done today and move to a different part of my room where I'm not stuck in a little corner and I can actually move. So with all of that being said, again, thank you so much, everyone who sent anything in. If you send it in and it's readable, I'm going to put it in a video. So be patient. If you've texted me your story, most likely, or if you left it in a comment, most likely I screenshot it and, eventually I've got to go back to that. So if you wanted in something right away and you really want to hear it, send it to me in an email. It just makes my life a lot easier. And 98% of the time I will email you and tell you that I'm filming your video that day and that it's going to be, whenever it's coming out. I don't always do that, but I do try to remember. I've emailed pretty much everyone today that is going to be in this particular video. So with all of that being said, let's get started. I'm so excited. So our first encounter comes from Blue Crossroads, but before we go to the encounter, Blue Crossroads had some questions for me and a possible alternative answer to my Glimmerman encounter that I had last year with me and my son. So I'm going to read off what he talks about with the Glimmerman, and I'm going to answer his questions, and then we're going to get into the encounter. So let's start. Anyway, intel that I had gathered way after the encounter, combined with some other research and knowledge, made me think about your Glimmerman encounter and a possible alternative scenario to that encounter that may allow you a perspective not yet considered. One that may give you a different opinion on your Glimmerman you encountered and possibly look at your Glimmerman in a different light. Possibly. First, the clicking sound. You said that you were with your son who was pointing, and I'm guessing possibly moving a bit as he pointed. I would be interested to know, as your son mimicked the clicking, did he stop moving forward and just start to point? So what happened was my son was making the clicking noise before this thing started. That's the noise he makes for a bug. I don't know if this thing looked like a bug to him or if he somehow intuitively knew something that I don't know. But he started with the clicking noise and pointing. And yes, he was moving a bit forward while looking up at this thing and pointing. You also mentioned you were looking and at this point made a motion of placing your hands above your eyes to shield sunlight, therefore physically moving, which possibly caused its head to turn quickly and sharply in your direction. As far as that, when the head turned towards me, it wasn't while I was saying, what are you looking at, this and that. It was when I first looked at my son and I said, RJ, we have to go. And I said it 3 times and my son was still clicking and pointing. This thing's head snapped towards me only when my son broke out of his trance and looked towards me first. So I felt this thing was very angry that I had gotten my son's attention away from it. So it didn't look at me while I was shielding and moving. It looked at me after I had gotten my son's attention back from it. One other question I would be interested in is you then had an overwhelming urge to leave. Did you think to yourself something like you and the child are in danger and you need to leave? Was it like thinking in your head and in your voice, but the thoughts were more like an order or something else telling you this? Using perhaps a sentence structure or process when talking to yourself that is unusual from the average everyday way you think to yourself structure. Okay, so I think what you're getting at here was maybe this thing was warning us of danger. I haven't read your whole email yet. I've kind of skimmed through it. I just knew it was an encounter. I don't know if that was the case because when this thing looked at me, I didn't just feel the urge to turn and run and get my son out of there. I felt an evil presence, but I don't know if it was radiating off this thing. I mean, all I was focusing on was the Glimmerman, was the shimmering translucent humanoid entity. So could there have been something else evil around that this thing was warning me of? I don't know. But I felt immediately when it looked at me, evil, get out of here, leave right now. And it very well could have been more than my intuition. It could have been a message from this thing. Now, what if? What if the Glimmer Man was not the threat? What if the Glimmer Man was there to neutralize a threat? Possibly an unseen threat, perhaps even one that cannot be seen from our visual spectrum. Perhaps the so-called tech that is possessed by the Glimmer Man is there to allow it to get close to the actual threat. In such a case, it may have actually saved you and your son from a missing phenomenon fate. We don't say that one sentence around here. Your Glimmer Man may have been some sort of temporal or alien policeman, for lack of a better term. Anyway, I would be interested to see what you think about that. That's actually a really, really good idea. I'm filming later on today some Glimmerman and Faceless Entity encounters for the next coming week. But what I'm finding lately with the Glimmerman is going to be a series because I found so much information. I have found what I believe are at least 3 different types of Glimmerman. I think there's one that's an alien that I encountered and I thought it was evil, but you now have me thinking on a whole new perspective, which I am going to bring up in chat tonight. One that's some form of government, whether it's United States or a combination of governments that are out there that I thought to neutralize these other alien Glimmermen. And recently I've heard of 3 or 4 accounts where Glimmermen, people that have lived close to woods, kind of like I do, Glimmermen have entered their homes or their yards, laid hands on them and healed them of cancers, tumors, migraines. So my mind is starting to change a bit about what this translucent humanoid Glimmerman, Shimmerman, Glitterman, whatever you want to call him, actually is. I do believe there's at least 3 different types. I would love to talk to you more about this, Blue Crossroads. So if you want to send me an email, I'll actually send you my number and we can maybe text about it. I would really love some more info and input on this because I'm probably going to incorporate this in one of my videos. Right now I'm doing encounters, but I am going to come out with a basics and keep going in the series from there. I have a lot of series I have to catch up with before I start new ones, but the Glimmerman and Faceless Entities were just too good to pass up. So I am starting another series. Thank you so much for that interpretation of what I went through. It does have me a little less scared, to be honest with you. And it does have me thinking more along the vein of what you were saying, going hand in hand with what Steve and I have already been discussing, that maybe there's not just one type and maybe they're not what's evil. I mean, is there a reason they're being cloaked? Is whatever's cloaking them keeping them protected from the threat? Because like I said, now that you mention it, yes, I did feel like I was being told to get the F out of here, but I thought it was my psychic self, my intuition. I'm brand new to that, so it could have been this thing saying, yo, bounce, right? Okay, let's get into your encounter. I grew up in a family that had more than its share of odd and paranormal activity. I'm the youngest in a family of a married couple with 3 kids. The oldest, my brother, was and still is very much schooled in the paranormal, psychic, and strange. Even married a psychic and for a long time was involved in a group of semi and full-time paranormal professionals. My sister had the gift of premonition and could see and even to some degree interact with what I would call spirits, especially when she was young, but has seemed to have grown out of it somewhat as an adult. Happens all the time. My 16-year-old has had it since he was born pretty much, but he's starting to kind of block it out. As for me, for a long time, I had an almost unnatural ability to observe people and sometimes even animals and automatically know things about them, like if they were feeling happy, sad, excited, frightened, or uncertain. I could also tell sometimes if people were lying or telling the truth. Mainly, I could deduce how they were going to move or react if we were playing sports. For some time, it was suspected that I had some sort of psychic ability, according to my friends and members of my brother's paranormal club of friends. I even began to suspect so. However, I later learned that this is an actual science that is usually taught and mastered called kinesics. For the most part, it's the study and interpreting of body language. As I later learned from some authorities in that field, I had an enhanced natural ability and knack for these skills. Well, you just cracked an egg on my head because that's one of my biggest psychic senses is knowing exactly what someone's thinking, knowing exactly what someone or an animal, something is feeling and what they're going to do and say next. That's like my jam. I'd love to hear more on that. I really would. Anyway, sorry. I tell you this to establish and better understand that even though I am by no definition a professional in things paranormal, I have had more than the average person's experience in such matters by exposure and being around others who are. In other words, not my first time to the rodeo. I also learned and developed a healthy respect for knowing there are things and forces out there that are based in a much larger reality than the one most people live in and place their boundaries of understanding into. Other than that, I grew up like most other kids. I found and fell in love with music at an early age and have, up until this day, considered music as my number one passion. But I have also always had a fascination for all things paranormal and cryptid. Probably due to my ability and my deep sense of country, duty, and commitment to community, I chose a career in law enforcement. I have worked and trained in many different capacities as my career evolved and worked with and within several agencies to include both local, state, federal, and international departments. This has caused me to gain specific knowledge and required at sometimes disclosure and security clearance requirements, which even until this day are in effect for certain aspects of involvement in some capacities of my prior career, to include some supernatural stuff. Therefore, due to this, as well as how often it may affect others still working within this realm, I must be vague about true identities, locations, and some things I can't as of yet discuss openly. Okay, we can deal with that here. Throughout my life in this career, I have had several encounters with the paranormal realm, most of which I can discuss to a certain degree. The following is one of my most vivid. I started my lifelong career in a major southern city as a police officer back in the mid 80s, but it didn't take long for my career to take off, and it eventually required me to move from there. However, while still living and working in this city, I had this brief encounter while coming back from a special assignment I was working. It was during the summer and around 2 in the morning. It was a clear night, but hot. Not just hot, but Mississippi Delta hot. That means, along with the heat, it was very humid. Anyone who has ever spent any summertime in the deep south can understand that. It's a very heavy, hot atmosphere that you almost need gills in order to catch a breath. I was in my personal vehicle, which was a brand new Chevy Camaro, had the T-tops off and the radio loud, the way I like it. Still in my uniform, including bulletproof vest and gun belt with all the regular equipment attached to it. I had already stopped and got myself a soft drink and was using the breeze to cool me down from a hot night of work. Gotta love the Camaro. I was heading south on a bypass at a good rate of speed and the only one on the road. This bypass runs through the northeast side of the city, and this part connects to one populated area to another populated area running through a wooded area that runs throughout the city. Also, on this part of the bypass, the road is slightly elevated as the surrounding area is lowland, and also running through it is a river, which a few miles from here connects with the Mississippi. This area is commonly referred to by the locals as the Bottoms. These days, this area of the bypass has been developed and now is chock full of car lots, strip malls, fast food joints, and such. But back in the 80s, this area was mostly remote and had only a few scattered businesses, none of which were near the Bottoms. The Bottoms is one of those places that teenagers and young adults would gather at with four-wheelers, jeeps, motocross bikes, and such, would go to have fun for, as we used to call it, going muddin'. Also, on the weekends, it was a well-known makeout spot and a place to hang out, drink, smoke, and do other nefarious activities. However, at 2 in the morning on a weeknight, it was very quiet and generally there was no activity going on at all. Also running parallel to the river and wooded area known as the Bottoms is an interstate. It is even more elevated than the bypass. The interstate runs over the top of the bypass and there is an exit/entrance ramp to the interstate. This is also right at the spot you can pull off of the bypass and drive down into the Bottoms. Are you guys following this? I'm trying to be very clear because I can picture it in my head. I was approaching this area pretty fast and looking over to the side of the road to my left where the side of the road goes down into the Bottoms. I could see what appeared to be very bright lights breaking through the tree line back in the woods, but my vision was obstructed to see the vehicle that may have been producing the light. My first thought was that it was some hardcore guys down in the Bottoms to be mudding this time of the morning and had some killer spotlights mounted on their ride to light up such an area. As this was going on and I was still fast approaching the interstate viaduct, something caught my attention in my peripheral vision over to my right, just outside my headlight beams. It was moving fast directly toward the front of my car. I imminently slammed on the brakes while thinking, oh shit, deer running across the road. I could not have been more wrong. It came to a screeching halt right in the middle of the road, right in front of my headlights, not more than 7 feet from my bumper. As we were both frozen in place, staring at each other, I'm not sure who had the bigger, oh shit expression, me or it. At least that is, if the thing I was looking at was human, then that's the expression I would have guessed was on its face. It only stopped and froze in front of me for probably no more than about 10 seconds, but it was a 10-second period that seemed like it lasted for minutes. I can only assume this, but perhaps with the oddity of the moment or fast reaction of stopping the car before I hit something, what I would call my police mode kicked in, and I began to mentally take note of the situation and went into observation mode. So I started taking notice of the suspect in front of me. It appeared to be 3 to 4 feet tall, but was also crouched. Could have been closer to 5 if it stood up straight, but I got the impression that its current body posture was its normal way of standing. It had a large bulbous head, at least compared to its skinnier, slender body. The color of the head seemed a bit darker than the rest of the body, all of which appeared to be a dark gray/greenish color, similar to the color of American alligators, but the appearance of his skin looked like a similar texture to human skin. The head reminded me of the head of a common ant. It was shaped the same and had dark, large, oval type eyes on each side of the upper part of its face, running slanted from the top portion of its head to about the midsection of its head, kind of pointing inward to where you would expect a nose to be. So, like this, I think. However, from what I could tell, there was no distinct nose, at least none like a human's. Below the eyes was a thin, very dark, almost black line, which I assumed was its mouth. It ran from about the same location a human's mouth would be. However, the line ran straight across the lower face in the front and then turned upward and slightly back on the head, almost to the area you would expect ears to be. It never opened its mouth or made any sound, so I'm not sure if that entire area opened up or if it was a mouth at all. It could have just been a discoloration from the rest of its skin. It had no ears I could see or even any discernible ear holes, at least where you would expect them to be. The neck was slightly more elongated and smaller than a human's, running down to its body. The chest area was rounded like a human's, but vastly smaller, almost child-sized. Arms appeared to be longer and somewhat disproportionate to its body and were skinny and had an insect-type look to them. Not so much an exoskeleton look, but obviously jointed. They weren't hanging down as you would expect someone standing there to have them, but kind of folded up on each side of its body, kind of like in a relaxed boxer stance, but with the hands turned inward toward it and not me. I could make out hands, but they were also completely folded at the wrist joints against its forearms, so I'm not sure what it actually looked like. The legs were long because even with this thing's shortness, I could make out the top of them, even with it so close to the bumper, which was obscuring its bottom half somewhat. They were like the arms, thin and insect-like, but it appeared to be jointed the same way, but to have the upper part of the leg shorter than the bottom part of the leg. I could not see its lower leg, shin, or feet area to determine what they looked like. I did notice its chest area moving slightly like it was breathing, but it seemed slow and steady. If I was racing up that 20 to 30 foot embankment it just came from, even in the shape I was in back then, I would have been sucking wind. I never noticed anything like genitalia to determine if it had a particular sex identification or scars or anything like that. No hair any place I could see. I'm not even sure if it was wearing any type of clothing. If it was, it would have had to have been skin tight. My main focus was on its head and my adrenaline was pumping, and it was only a brief period of observation, so I probably missed quite a bit. Then it turns its head quickly as if it either saw or heard something coming from the area it was running towards and took off like a shot. It was out of my headlights now, but I could still make out its outline in the darkness, and it was moving like an Olympic sprinter. It leapt over a guardrail on the other side of the road and down to the other side of the embankment toward the area that I saw that light coming from. I don't know why, other than I'm so used to pursuing suspects when they would run for me, but I popped open my car door and was on my way out the car to pursue it. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to catch this thing, especially wearing all this gear, a bulletproof vest in this humidity, I thought to myself, but I have to try. I made it halfway out of the car when I think to myself, stop. So I stop. Then I think to myself, following is dangerous to you, move along. So I get back in the car, put it in drive and start to go. I make it several feet to just under the interstate overpass. Then I'm thinking to myself, no, this is not right. So I stop the car again. But before I could get back out of the car, I again think to myself, stop. And I stop. Then I think to myself, Following is dangerous to you. Move along. Again, I put the car in drive, hit the gas, and go. I drive about a quarter of a mile and pull over on the next main road. Sitting there for a bit, I try to gather myself enough to check my sanity. Did this just happen? Yep. Did I see what I saw? Yep. Why would I just drive away from that? Why would I tell myself it's too dangerous when nothing during that encounter felt threatening to me? Weird, yes. Strange, yes. But dangerous? And why would I think to myself in those words when I never generally used phrasing that way or referred to myself as if I was someone else saying that to me? So in the third person. Did I just get a Jedi mind trick pulled on me? Perhaps it was trying to save me. Was there something I missed? Was it possibly chasing something else, something more dangerous? All of this was going through my head. One thing I know from my training is that witness observations deteriorate quickly. I'm also paranoid now that if it was not me thinking this, and I'm still battling that issue to this day, could I somehow have this stripped from my memory? So, time for documentation. I pulled out my notebook I used for documenting my police activity and wrote down everything I could remember. Another thing I know from my past experiences with anything supernatural is only share with those who can relate so as not to tarnish your public life. That's a good point. I then tore those pages out of my notebook and kept them till this day. Finally, after about 30 minutes of documenting and de-stressing, I turned around and went back. I found exactly what I expected to find. Not a damn thing. No creature, no light in the woods, nothing other than the skid marks where I had slammed on my brakes. Called my brother the next day after getting zero sleep. After that, how could I? My brother has also experienced prior paranormal stuff with some with me and some apart from me, but he was older and had been involved with the researching this kind of thing for some time, and I needed a trusted source. Remember, this is the 80s before the internet. He wasn't too sure about the creature, but it didn't fall into the realm of what is known today as your garden variety cryptid. He started leaning more towards spiritual beings. I think probably because that is in more of his wheelhouse than anything else. But I had my doubts about that. This thing was solid. It was three-dimensional. Even though it's putting human expressions on something that's not human, I can't shake the feeling it was caught off guard and freaked out momentarily as I was. It was as if I'd surprised it. I have never heard of a person surprising a spirit, demon, or something intangible. It's usually the other way around. You got that right. My brother is also in a very small circle of people that I have ever told about this encounter until now. I am curious and still seek possible answers to what I did encounter that night. And now that I can kind of relax some on reporting this now, perhaps someone out there has had a similar experience or has also run across one of these beings. Any help or a point in a direction would be appreciated. As of now, with some of the research I've been able to do, my thought is this may have been an extraterrestrial or interdimensional encounter. Perhaps the light I saw was from a craft it was trying to get back to or some parallel dimension doorway. There's also an active train railway that runs through there, and it may have just been a locomotive that was possibly passing by when this occurred. I've seen other trains passing through there, but don't ever recall the light being that bright, but who knows? There's also stories from Indian tribes of the ant people who dwell deep inside the earth, so lots to think about. Today, I reside in another part of the South. I am now retired law enforcement and have worked for several agencies, both local and federal, in various capacities, mainly within specialized units. I would like to say that this encounter was my last supernatural encounter during my career and lifetime, but there have been a few others. Those are stories for another time. Wow. This sounds extraterrestrial to me. My mother is Native American. I do know a lot of the stories of the Cherokee Nation, the Iroquois Nation, just Native Americans in general, and I do know of the ant people that live in the earth. But I think that this was a gray slash insectoid, a gray slash insect alien. And I have my opinions on the grays, how they used to be on a planet just like Earth. They used to look very similar to how we do, but they got so caught up in technology, they lost their humanity, they ruined and destroyed their planets, had to live underground over, thousands and thousands of years and generations. They lost their ability to procreate. So now they abduct humans with the permission of the United States government and have these hybrid programs because they're trying to save their species. I'm just saying, I have had experiences with this exact creature that you're talking about, only, I guess not exact, because there was a difference. The arms weren't jointed into the forearm. They were just regular grays. These sounds like insect grays. We have a lot of listeners here. We have a lot of subscribers. We have a lot of people that just pop in and listen. If anybody has had a similar experience, even if you don't want me to share it publicly, if you would pass it along to me, mention it in a comment, email it to me so I can speak to Blue Cross Roads about it, and maybe you guys can talk about it some more. Blue Cross Roads, I thank you for your service. Also, I also thank you for sending in this amazing long story, great content. I definitely appreciate you, and anything else you want to share, feel free. I have people that share things with me that I don't make public because they ask me not to. Just my thirst for knowledge about everything paranormal, cryptid, supernatural, because of all of the hundreds of experience I have had pretty much since I can remember when I was 4. So that's about 34, 35 years now. And I'm finally learning that it's okay. It's not something to hide. It's not something dirty. Thank you again. Thank you so much for sharing. Our next encounter comes from Tony, the ultimate Gurner for learners, Jones. I love that name. Every time you come into a live stream, I'm like, yes, love the name. Hi, Gemma. I'm Tony. Love your channel, by the way. Thank you, Tony. My YouTube name is Tony, the ultimate Gurner for learners. Well, it all started when I moved into my disabled sister's flat after her husband died. He wasn't a good person at all. He took advantage of her big time. But it started when me and my kids, I have them on the weekend on Fridays, I was on my gaming console and had a weird feeling that someone or something was watching me. So I got my tablet and started recording and left the room for a while. After about an hour, I checked the recording and was shocked about halfway through. I heard a voice and it sounded like an elderly man saying, "Go on the cut," which, if you're not sure what cut means, it's our way of saying the canal, which by me are loads. I was freaked out. Then after about a week, when I was on my own, I started hearing voices, whispers, but coming from at least 4 to 5 people or entities at once. It progressed. I was seeing around 6+ translucent figures walking past me, literally a few feet away. I didn't feel alarmed at first. I was interacting with them. When I put my hand towards them, I could see them doing the same. I was overwhelmed by this. I even saw dog-like figures running around as well. I can't remember when, but all of a sudden, I started feeling scared. I got a different vibe from these beings. They were at least 6 feet tall and even hovered above me when lying down on the couch. So close, but I can't see details, only outlines of a body shape. I'm still seeing them. I catch them in my peripheral vision. About a week ago, I got really scared because around about 3 a.m., I saw one of them by my window, and all of a sudden I saw its eyes, but not normal eyes. They were a lime green and very sparkly, like flash. Now and then I once saw a documentary about a doctor who evaluated prisoners who were in there for their crimes, but they had stories to tell about when they used to take methamphetamines. The doctor studied this for years, saying people who do these types of drugs open up a portal to other dimensions because most, if not all, of the prisoners saw these lime green eyes, and they said pretty much the same as me. They also said once you see them, they never leave you alone, ever. It made some of them mad. The doctor believes these are demonic beings. I'll keep you posted on what happens with me if you don't mind, but for now, I'll keep watching your channel and learning about the paranormal. Anyway, best wishes from over the pond, Tony. P.S. I have more stories to say about the paranormal. I got one about me years ago when I used to do the Ouija board. I think it may stem from there, as ever since I've done it, I've had the worst luck, from losing my parents to more. Anyway, see you soon. Tony, I'm very sorry about the loss of your parents. I've never heard of these green-eyed kind of translucent entities. I would love for you to share more and tell me exactly what these green-eyed figures look like. I'm also going to look for that documentary. It sounds extremely interesting. As a recovering addict myself, I didn't use methamphetamines, but I did see some crazy things while high, and I was not on a hallucinogenic. I feel like instead of blocking the things out, I did open myself up more when I was using at certain times. Anything that you want to share as far as getting spirit or soul attachments from the use of a Ouija board, where you feel like, you know, something's attached to you that's dark and depressing and kind of negative on your energy and on your soul, you should look into getting a white witch to go in and bless your home. Feel free to share any stories with me and or Steve, because sometimes we do the same stories. Our style's so different. A lot of the time people don't even notice until we get into the middle of the story. Like, oh, Gemma did this, or oh, Steve did this. So thank you so much for sharing that part of you. It sounds really creepy, but it also sounds really interesting because the only like bright green-eyed beings that I've heard of are these new shadow people that suddenly instead of red eyes or yellow eyes or orange eyes have green eyes. Our next encounter comes from my Pam cake, Miss Pam Smith, mine and Steve's super fan, definitely a member of our tribe who has been with me since the very beginning. Pammy, I love you and thank you so much for sharing this. You say in the beginning that if we want to fix up or switch anything, normally the only thing I change is if like your sentence structure or a word is misspelled or something, but the meat of the story stays the same. It's kind of just making it readable, but so far it seems fine. Here goes. Picture as you will, small town USA in rural Ohio, a village in the late 60s to early 70s, nestled up against Wayne National Park. It's grown out these days, but was a steel town back then. We lived in a subdivision like up the hill from what was called the city park. We had a front hill and a back hill above the park. You could get to my house either way. If you went up the front hill, my cousin lived close to the bottom near the park. About 100 yards, if you turned left, it made a backward L, or you could keep going straight up the hill, and my best friend lived up that hill. And of course, older brothers and sisters, but our houses all faced the road. Our backyards were all connected. Back then, everyone had gardens. At the garden line were woods that backed up to Wayne National Forest. One day, we were all coming home from the park. My cousin, who was about 3 years older, who has since passed on, of course, left the group first. Then I walked up the hill to my turn, told my friends bye, and headed home. And of course, they in turn headed up the hill on their way home. We lived on the right side of the road, and mine was the fifth house down. I'm approximately 5, maybe 6 years old. I get to my neighbor's house, and under my porch, I see something. I can't tell what it is, but I'm instantly terrified. I don't know why, but I started to cry. This thing was at the porch line. It looked like a cross between lizard and snake, but it had skin and it was a transparent tan or peach like color and beady black eyes. I came to a dead stop and yelled for my mom, but no answer. I'm not sure how long I screamed and yelled and cried at the top of my lungs for her. It seemed like hours to me, but as a little girl, I'm sure it was just about 20 minutes or so. Just enough to do that deep breathing little ones do when they cry, but no one heard me. And this whole time, it would open its mouth real slow and its whole head and body would disappear. It had no teeth, but its mouth was blood red. I can't remember a tongue. I remember just being terrified and I knew it wanted me. It was broad daylight and no one heard me, not even my own mom. Then my neighbor, Sonny, who I didn't like but was glad to see at that point, came out and said, I just now heard you cry for your mom. How long have you been out here and what's wrong? And I said that the thing under the porch, it wants to get me. And I wouldn't budge until he went and got it. All it supposedly was a dirty old baby doll head. Okay, no, that's not what I saw. Not at all. And all my babies were plush Raggedy Ann, Andy, Holly, Hobby, baby doll heads. And the only sister I had by my mom was 14 and had been gone for 2 years. Like she was at my dad's because she wouldn't listen to my mama. I walked that path every day. There was no baby doll head. And where was the rest of the doll then? Baby doll heads don't just appear. How did it get there and when and who put it there and how did it lose its head and why was it so dirty and it had one eye open and one eye shut. And I can remember Sonny's dad telling his mom, yeah, she's going to have her hands full with that little one. She's sure acting out since her daddy left. I promise it wasn't that at all. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a baby doll head. But how could it change that quick in broad daylight? Holy crap, Pam. Now, you labeled this as possible shapeshifter encounter, right? I don't know if this is a shapeshifter encounter, but it's definitely really interesting. Just how it disappeared like that with no teeth. Could it have been something a little bit more alien, maybe akin to our recently found out Glimmerman? I'm going to look into this for you. And as with all the other encounters, if anyone listening, watching, has had an experience like this or knows what we could be dealing with in any of these encounters, please feel free and email me so that I can give the people who are sending this stuff in looking for answers, trying to figure out what it was they saw to know they're not crazy, right? A little bit of comfort that they're not alone. Like Sirach's jellyfish encounter. I have information about that I have to go through. Sirach, I got you. I haven't had time. but as soon as I go through it, I'm going to send it to you. I believe it was alien and demonic, but something that was summoned into your home by someone else. But that's a whole other story. If anyone else has seen anything or heard of anyone seeing anything like what Pam experienced, please reach out. Our final encounter for Listener Encounters Volume 7 is, of course, from our very own Jason Zorn. It's been a while since I was able to send anything due to drama and several other things, and this isn't paranormal or even really cryptid, but sort of semi-cryptid. Palestine, Texas, and Frankston, Texas are literally where I spent a majority of my life from childhood through most of my adulthood. That whole area of East Texas is just crazy with weird stuff. Anyway, I was an absolute butt when it came to being in the woods. If I wasn't in school, which I dreaded, or asleep, then I was in the woods. Okay, so he was crazy about being in the woods. He was always in there. Sorry, I didn't understand the way you wrote that, Jason. 1985 in Palestine, we lived in a small redwood house at the end of a dead-end street with a neighbor about 50 yards from the front of our house and with tons of thick forest and hills all behind us. Our backyard was about a quarter acre, and behind our yard was a field about 2 acres, and behind that was woods that went on for quite a while before hitting a narrow paved road. Once you enter the woods, there's a steep hill with a trail going down to a deep ravine with a dried up creek bed and a huge dead tree laid across it like a bridge. Then the trail goes up a really steep hill, then winds around for about 1.5 miles or so. Then you come out of the forest to a pretty huge open field with tall grass and weeds. This is where I was standing, my 12-gauge shotgun in hand and a .22 Magnum revolver on my hip. I'd been here more than a few thousand times, and I was walking towards the southwest side of the field. And the field is basically surrounded on 3 sides by woods, but the west end on the south side was the narrow paved road. On the other side of that road was another open field, and in that field were soccer fields for school teams to practice. And of course, more woods. But I had just reached the southwest side, the road to my right, when I saw movement. Quick movement straight ahead. A huge black cat, which I absolutely swear could have only been a Black Panther, leapt from the thickness of the trees and landed with a thump. I froze. Now, all that happened was probably no more than 5 seconds, but it felt like a lifetime. I stood in absolute awe and fear of this enormous cat. I've never seen anything that big outside of a zoo, and this time there was no fence, and it was no more than maybe 40, 45 feet from me, so I got a really good look. The rippling muscles of this cat were amazing. When it landed in the field, its head turned to its left, my right, and it looked in the direction of the soccer fields across the road, and then it turned its head forward and locked eyes directly with me. I didn't know so many things on my body could pucker all at the same time, but they did. Just when I thought I was as good as kitten chow, the panther turned its head to the right, facing more woods, and silently leapt into the trees. I heard 2 snaps of branches and then silence. I was glad it seemed to be going away, but unfortunately it was going in the direction I had to go to get back home. Needless to say, my head was on a swivel all the way back. A lot of people say they don't believe Black Panthers roam East Texas, but I know for a fact they do. There's a show that used to come on TV called Monster Quest, and they did a whole episode on Black Panthers, and guess where they filmed it? Palestine, Texas. Check it out. I think you can find it on YouTube. Anyway, that's what I got for now. So the reason I put this in here is, okay, I don't know anything about animals and geography and all that kind of stuff, but I was just watching something about phantom panthers in the woods. And this was the woods of, I believe, by not the Bennington Triangle, the Bridgewater Triangle. So I was watching this whole special on that, and they were talking about phantom panthers. Whether Black Panthers roam the woods in East Texas or not, I believe phantom panthers roam around a lot of woods. And I'm actually looking for more encounters on that type of thing. So thank you so much, Jason. As always, it was a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Blue Crossroads, Tony, my Pam Cake, Pam Smith, and Jason Zorn. Guys, I love you all so much. To everybody else listening, please, if you have any encounters with the supernatural and or paranormal, please send them to my email at GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com. Also, be sure and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed spending time with me, but also for the people who were brave enough to share this part of themselves with not only me, but us, with our community. We have to stick together in this community. Steve and I always say we're one big tribe, right? We found kind of our people. That's what I absolutely love, is there's never any judgment or hate or nastiness or anything like that. So it's all good, baby. Also, subscribe if you aren't already. Check out that description box for some important links. We're still looking for justice for Caleb Smith. We are not going to give up on that. Click the link for the 2-hour live stream Steve Stockton and I did with Caleb's mother, April Arrington. We're still going to do a podcast, guys. It's coming. We've been saying it for like 8 months now, but believe me, it's coming. God is lighting the way. April, if you're listening, we love you. We have not forgotten you, girl. Also, check out the links for the live streams on Missing Persons and Mysteries. You have Stemma, myself, and Steve Stockton on Sunday nights with Fireside Chat, on Friday nights with Campfire Stories, both from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then our new live stream on Wednesday nights right here on the Gemma Jade channel, Gemma Jade Live, our Oracle readings, which we're doing for 2 hours every single Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And also in the description box will be my email. Also, Patreon and PayPal links if you want to make a financial donation to the channel, and channel memberships coming soon, guys. So that's incredibly awesome. Be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything. Be kind to yourself. Always go in grace. Smile at a stranger. Have your best day. Have your best night. See you next time. Love ya. Bye-bye.
Okay. That was fun. I always like listening to some of those old stories again because it piques my interest. Hold on one second. It's like gravel in my throat. Now, we've been having an interesting conversation here. Now, who do we want to tackle first? And actually, it's all connected in one way or another. Now, when you have dreams and relatives come and tell you things, past relatives, they are telling you something, and it's not uncommon. It happens a lot more to people than you realize, Cindy. A lot more than you realize. I love the listener stories. Yeah, I do too. That's why I'm trying to push for some more encounters, because I like listening to them. And it took me a long, well, actually, I started accepting things before the incident in the cemetery, if you know about that. But after that incident, things changed. And then every time that I passed and came back, certain things would ramp up. But I also had lost I still have fear of things. I seem to have a little better control. So I don't allow the fear unless I need it to come out. Because sometimes fear is a good thing. Save your life. Excuse me. So yeah, I just learned to adjust to it. But the things that I've been seeing lately, it's getting crazy. It's getting hard sometimes to go out. Because it is now every day, almost every time I walk out this door and leave the cave, as Mark would say. But yeah, I'd like to see some more listener encounters. I think she enjoys doing them too. Because a lot of times she just gathers them and then waits to do them as she records. And I think that makes it nice too, because some of that is like new to her too when she reads them. She just kind of skims through them, see if they're worth putting it on, I think. Sometimes I don't even think she even did that. She just compiled them all together, then read them at once. There he is. There's Mark. He was just listening. How can we fight this? This is what I want to know. I don't think you can. We're fighting it now, believe it or not. But this evil versus good, it's going to be a group effort. But unfortunately, I think it's going to be a select few, and then the one and only, to really put an end to it all. But as an individual of what you see, like me and the things you deal with, That's on how you handle it. If you on how you want to fight it. Everybody reacts differently. Some people cower and just eventually just start ignoring it. But that never turns out good for people who actually, like me or other people, see when they actually do see things. Because sometimes I find the more I try to ignore it, the more intense it gets. So I go with it. My job is to only observe, anyways. I only tell people things that I see. If I see somebody that looks bad or it looks bad, I try to tell them, and whatever I get from them is what I get. And I've been ridiculed. I've even been punched. But most people now, I think, are so much open now that I don't get the reactions when I. But also, it's just like the guy in the carryout that left the thing left marks on me. Instead of telling him, I just started to treat him nice and speak politely to him and be kind and loving as much as I could without being coming off weird. And I think that's what pissed it off. Yeah, my mom came in my dreams this morning during the couple hours I slept, but I woke up before I got the message. Oh, she'll come back. Just give it time. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes them 2 or 3 times. So, and honey, I don't. I I sleep, but it's like cat naps because I mean I literally am in constant motion 24 hours a day. It's like a Parkinson's person is what I'm basically like, but it's not Parkinson's. I've dealt with this since I was 2 years old. Yeah, I feel bad for my mom and dad. Some of the stories they tell me, ooh, I must have broke a lot of stuff in my sleep, bouncing around in my bed. But she was holding her stomach like she was in pain. Huh. Now, see, I'm not a dream interpreter, but that could be a number of things. Um, somebody, you or somebody in your family may have stomach issues. Just keep an eye on the family, and I'm sure more answers will come to you over time. Ever after 2 or 3 times, the message is hard to reach. Now, see, I always find the more they try, the more focused I am on, especially if I know that something is trying to talk to me in my dreams, I'll focus a little bit more on that. But see, I'm really good. There's very few dreams that I don't remember. And I don't even have to write them down. I used to write them down. I don't even have to write them down anymore. Now, I noticed the ones I have a hard time remembering are usually where I feel like I'm not even me. Those are the ones where I had the really strange, I'm somebody else dreams. And those don't happen too much. But when I have them, it's really weird because I get up and I'm really confused. Just now that you know that they're trying to speak to you, should make you more aware up here that, you should be paying attention. And sometimes, and if it gets harder for them to reach you, you may notice things on your regular day life, some events that keep happening or something you keep noticing. Maybe another way they may try to reach out to you. Yeah, some of mine are too. Mine have definitely been clear when I've walked through the door a couple times, as one might say. They were very clear, especially the last time when I went on that, when I tried the experimental drug and they found me something in the chair. Oh, I got a real hefty message in that one. I don't tell everybody the whole thing on that one because it was those last 3 times were very intense. There was very specific messages. And then now, like I said, a while back ago, I started seeing this lady in the light, and I still see her. She still comes to me. She still tells me things. She's very specific, without giving me answers, because I like to find my own answers, and I think she understands that. I've only been fighting twice. I've been scared a few times, like the demon and the Hat Man. And there's a couple other things that's happened that kind of shook me to the core, but not as bad as those things did. The demon and the Hat Man were probably the two that really kind of make me regret seeing the things that I say. When my sister-in-law came in my dream with the message from my brother, I found a brown feather on my bedroom floor. The next morning, yeah, that was strange. Yeah, you'll find little stuff like that. Tokens, I call them tokens or reminders. It's kind of like, hey, I'm gonna put this here. Never seen one, never hope so. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Same thing with the Hat Man. And now that's the one person I probably in my entire life probably wish I'd said something to, because he ended up passing that summer, and I really think it was a Hat Man that did it. I tried to tell somebody, and everybody kind of looked at me kind of funny, but I was young. And I wouldn't wish that experience on it. And the thing was, I know what I was seeing that during that demon encounter. I can only imagine the young man that was living in that apartment that it was attacking, what he was actually saying, because I know he didn't tell me everything. That was obvious that night that it all kind of came to a head. It's like he wanted to tell me things, but he just kept holding back. But I let it go because we were taking care of the problem. Good night, Mark. You have a pleasant night. Have a wonderful Sunday. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may wander around a little bit, but I'll probably end up working. Get Pops out of the house for a while. The church at St. Michael's at the top of the street's having a festival, so it's like you can't even get out of the neighborhood because everybody parks in our neighborhood to walk across the main drag. The two little people that you frightened you. Now, see, that's the thing. I didn't realize that I could have possibly, when I see the little things that follow people, especially children, I never thought about being fake until I met Gemma. Then it kind of dawned on me that, hey, that's what this could be. Now, I do have a neighbor who has a little thing following her, but I know what that is. And I can't go into details, but let's just say this poor lady had a very tragic event in her life, and a child was lost. And I'm pretty sure it's a child that follows her. Well, you have sweet dreams too, Mark. You have a wonderful day tomorrow, sir. That's you could tell him that, Cindy, but he may already know and may not have said anything. And she might be there to protect him. The only problem I have, see, this is the thing I have about with people seeing ghosts sometimes, especially children ghosts. They want to assume automatically it's a boy or girl. Some of the videos I've seen, you can't tell if it's a boy or girl. And second, we all know that these evil things use children as a lure into you opening the door more or less. You were just gonna say that he may already know. Yeah, there's a big chance he may already know. There's a big chance he may already know. If he feels it, there's a big chance he knows. And that's usually a good thing. Because if he doesn't feel uh, if he doesn't feel uncomfortable with it, then usually that may be what it is she's just hanging around, watching over him. And like Gemma says, sometimes you kind of split, She may actually, they may be actually in heaven, but a part of them's still there, kind of overseeing things. And that's not uncommon too. I've heard that many times. And sometimes people come back to check on them. I know my mom is buried right down the cemetery here. I know there are times she's in this house. And I know there are times when my dad is asleep, talking in his sleep, I'm pretty sure that's who he's talking to. Or one of his, either his brother or one of his sisters. See, I don't remember too many of his older siblings because I was just a baby when they all passed. I only remember Aunt Sally, Aunt Shirley, and Bernadine. And he had a brother, right? And the rest were all girls. Now, see, I don't ever have any of them come visit me. When I usually dream of people that's passed, it's usually friends. $4 months apart. Wow. That's like my poor dad and mom. They went through that too. It was like one died, then my dad's dad died, and then somebody else died. I think it was my aunt. One of my old aunts that I never got to meet. She passed, and then his mother passed. It was like boom, 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 real fast. That does suck. And bless you, little lady. That's a lot to go, and it is a lot to go through when it happens like that. And we've always talked about it this in the family that people seem to pass in threes. So we just lost Jimmy Buffett. So you wonder who the next two are. It's just like family members. A family member dies. It's like somebody else or some couple. I hate saying this, but it seems so realistic because it always seems to do that. My parents, Granny, have never come to me. My boyfriend came once. I still remember that dream. Now, see, that's usually friends with me. My mom, I know when she's here. She doesn't come to me in my sleep, but I know when she's here. Now, like the night that thing passed in front of me, that shadow, that was the lady in the light. I know that for a fact. She was. There was some doubts about me from some people, not Gemma, but other people. I think she was trying to prove to people that this does happen to me, but she was also there for Gemma too, for another reason. Yeah, I got the whole lowdown on that one night, and I woke up. I slept heavy for like an hour and a half. See, when I speak to the lady in the light, I'll sleep like an hour or an hour and a half, and it's a real heavy sleep. Giles says those are the nights that I don't move, but I wake up and I'm all like, But I know I talk to her. I know I see her. Even with the shakes afterwards, I'm on a lot better spirits. But it's always interesting when I talk to her because it feels like I've been with her for like hours. The first time I was with her, I think I only slept like 2.5 hours. Actually, I was astro projecting, and I felt like I was gone for days. And it was when I woke up at night, I realized it had only been like an hour and 20 minutes or so. It was like, holy crap, I felt like I was gone forever. Yeah, it just seems to. Yeah, he did pass. I forgot about him. Let's see. Now, no offense, I wasn't a big Jimmy Buffett fan. I mean, I've seen him. I'm pretty sure. I know I saw him at the fair, and I'm pretty sure it was in the early 80s. And I had seen the band with my brothers, and I was just a kid because my brothers used to take me to shows all the time, concerts all the time. Yeah, it does seem to come in threes. Yeah, when we see one pass, my dad always goes, "Okay, waiting for the next two." My mom was, when she was alive, she was real big about that, and she wasn't really a superstitious person. Now, my grandmother, which was really her aunt, because her mom passed early, so my aunt adopted her. Now she was super superstitious. Yeah, Cincinnati was crazy over Jimmy Buffett. Yeah, he was. He always drew big crowds there, that's for sure. But yeah, and on your daughter, I looking into a few things because see the lady she sees reminds me of the hag. Have you heard of the story of the hag? She does the same thing. She tends to lean over or climb on top of their chest and look at them and laugh and crazy stuff like that. So I'm having that checked out because it's unusual to have your entity, your shadow person or hat man sitting in a corner with his head down, and then have the hag there at the same time. There's something going on there, and I'm trying to piece things together for you. And Blue did ask good questions about smelling things, any scents, any odd odors, and body feelings like tingling and stuff like that. That's all good information, and that's stuff I like to know too. Um, but this it's really weird because you don't usually have them both at the same time. It's usually the hag or the shadow person. Yeah, when you get a chance, I have no rush. Like I said, I'm talking to a dear lady here. And I guess she's been friends with me for a long time, and she's like a sister. She's the person I go to when I'm in overload. Her and Thomas. Thomas is a minister. I go to them like right now with all the stuff I'm seeing. We've been talking a lot on the phone because there's some stuff I'm seeing that doesn't make sense to me because it's really creepy, and I'm noticing some of them may be seeing me now, which never was the problem before. If they did, they never, you know, gave me the impression because I'm pretty sure that all these times, there's very few times where they look back at me. And now I get this different kind of feeling like they know I'm there. Like the guy in the carry out. Any other time, that thing may have not noticed me. So now I'm noticing now that some of these things are noticing me. I also know that there are times that these things are afraid of me, which kind of freaks me out. Like, why are you afraid of me? But I get that impression. So, it must be something I put off. Maybe it's because I do have contact with this lady in light. She's done something because I don't get scared. But that thing that touched me and left those marks on me in that carryout, I'm telling you, I was pissed. Pardon my mouth. I was not a happy camper, and I think it knew I was mad. Oh, thanks, Ann. I don't know. If I have a powerful light, it's an interesting powerful light. She says they come together every time. That's interesting. So there's something else going on there. Now, does this happen everywhere she go? You don't think you even realize it. Oh, I know there's something about me. Say, hey, Black Dragon, what's up, bud? Simplify. Yeah, my daddy's a Marine. They wouldn't take me. I had too many issues. I'm kind of glad I didn't go in the service because I can imagine what I would have saw in the service. Oh my gosh. It's crazy now. I can only imagine what it had been like then. It was hard enough going through school, seeing the stuff I seen, working jobs that I see, the things I see. Just chilling and relaxing. What we're doing now, we just got done watching two of Gemma's older listener encounters, 6 and 7. And we'll listen to 8 and 9 next week. Yes, they follow her. It wasn't the old house that I was feeling. Okay. That I wanted to know. I thought you had said before. See, some of this stuff I wrote down. So a lot of that stuff you said earlier, I already had written down because you had said earlier. I'm really good about taking notes. You read my notes, you wouldn't know what I was saying, but I do. Yeah, see, now, and I had a buddy. No matter where he went, this thing followed him everywhere he went. So I told him, it's attached to you. It's not the places you're going to. And I went, and this is not for everybody, but I told him to go get baptized. After that, he never got bothered again. Actually, his whole life changed after that, and it for the good. But this poor kid, everywhere his parents went, everywhere he went, this thing taunted him. You felt a negative presence once you step inside. That's interesting. But if the smudging, if you have to keep smudging, then you may have. That's like with Gemma's mom. Something more powerful has to be taking place that's stronger than it, and a lot of that is the person too. Maybe a bit of fear is shown when you smudge the house. It could be anything. I don't want to say, hey, are you scared when you do it or something bothering you? Because it is also about a frame of mind. But sometimes it takes a more powerful thing to go in there and clean the house. And that's possible too. That she could be tested. I know I've been tested many times. In fact, you'd be surprised how all of us are tested almost on a daily basis. Yes. Now, is it bothering her children? Now, I was going to ask if she had children. Do they see it? Have they had any issues that she knows of? And you would know that? Yeah, we all have. Here's a question. Something that she may want to try. Children do a great way of expressing the things they see by the things they draw. If she thinks that they're seeing things or has any idea that they might have them draw the things that they see in the house. Okay, that's good. And then whatever it is must be just focused on. See, there's something about her that is attractive. If it's just her, there's something about her that is they're attracted to especially have both of those type of entities together kind of bothers me, but they do both. Dragon, you know that, Black. It's the way it is. They'll test you to no ends, and it's a good thing. She can see her as a ghost. Okay. Then maybe she saw something she wasn't supposed to see. See, I've had that happen too, where I saw something that I don't think I was supposed to. Oh, the girl with the white-eyed kid that I saw. I know I wasn't supposed to see that. That was like a total slip up, I think, because she made it perfectly clear that I was not supposed to see her. I got a horrible vibe from her, but it was like more of a warning vibe that, this part of the spectrum you're not supposed to see. Why are you seeing me? How is it that you're seeing me? I mean, it was more like she was angry that I could see her. I didn't feel threatened, just like, no. You know what I'm saying? But see, again, that was in a hospital. The crap I see in hospitals ain't half as bad now as what I've seen out on the streets. Used to be the hospitals and places like that were the worst. Not anymore. But I still would have liked to caught that black-eyed kid I followed for 20 minutes in that hospital. I mean, I literally followed that guy for 20 minutes, maybe even longer. And if it wouldn't have gone into an area, I would have gone in. And you should see me. I was taking pictures. None of the pictures came out. Well, I was trying to take pictures without people going, "Hey, will you take a picture?" Now that would have freaked me out. Right out. Right? I'm telling you, actually, when I first saw her, I just thought it was a blind kid. I honestly did. That just didn't have a cane or anything. But the more and more I stood there watching her, the more something didn't feel right. Like, am I seeing something I'm not supposed to? And this little girl was dressed in a party dress, which was even weirder. And she was standing outside of her room. But when I caught her face and saw how her eyes were solid white, snow white, and I go, a blind kid. I even asked a freaking nurse about her. What kid? I don't see no kid. But when she turned around and looked at me, and I knew as soon as she turned around and looked at me, the chill that ran down my spine wasn't really a chill. It was more like, uh-oh, maybe I crossed the line. Maybe I saw, it was that kind of feeling. And then when she came back to warn me, to tell me that I wasn't supposed to see her, and that was no. And it did that. It didn't scare me. See, I wouldn't call that a scare. That was more like a learning experience. I had seen a girl maybe 10, 12 years old in the hospital. She wore a white dress that seemed like it was that would not surprise me, Black Dragon. It would not surprise me at all. I've seen, see, that's the thing. I'm not like Gemma. I see ghosts, and it's usually in like a transparent or a shadow phase. And I can usually pick up if it's a human spirit, if it's an angelic spirit, or a being, I should say, or a demonic being. But like I said, there's just one third thing. It could be interdimensional. I don't know what these third subject is that I see, but as soon as I see him, I get this weird vibe. But it's like I'm supposed to watch them, because when I see those, I do not take my eyes off them the whole time I see them. I'm watching them from the time I see them to the time that person or whatever it's doing is gone. But it's weird. Those things are weird. But what I'm seeing now is things actually being attached to people, holding on to people. It used to be when I saw that, it was usually a good thing. Like this person or thing was protecting that person. But now it's a whole different vibe. No, older clothes, like 1920s clothes, like Civil War era. Now, see, when I saw the little shadows, I wish I wasn't seeing shadows, because there's some things that I wish I could see what they actually look like, but then again, maybe I don't. But when I get spirits of people, I can usually tell it's a person. I can usually tell if that person is there for a good reason or for a bad reason. I usually can't make out what they look like, but I'll get the feeling that maybe it's a relative or that it was a friend or somebody very close to him or very important at one point in their life. Now, when I've seen ghosts, when I've actually seen ghosts with other people and stuff, we've seen I've seen full bodied apparitions, but it was like what you call those residual haunts where it's like time playing over and over again. Um, Now I've seen weirder things than that. Um, I Some of these things I wouldn't even call cryptids. I'm still trying to figure out why 99% of the female ghosts reported are wearing white Victoria area clothing, like everyone who died in the 1980s. Yeah, I get like that too, Chris, because there are certain things that keep popping up, and it's like you got to understand some of these fashions had been around for a while. I mean, it was the era, but some of those people wore those longer than that. And but it's always like, oh, they were from the 1900s or the early 1800s or late 1800s or the 1700s. It's like you're being specific. That's good if that's what you're seeing. But yeah, I get what he's saying though. Why is that? Is that something that whatever mocking that person? Because sometimes I think some of these ghosts are not really ghosts. It's something mocking a ghost to draw you in. This is why I don't ghost hunt anymore. Because if you hear now, you hear more and more stories of these paranormal investigators or ghost hunters bringing stuff home with them. Now, some act like that's a cool thing. I don't know if it's a good thing. You're going out and calling something, and people have been fooled before. And it happens a lot more than you think. With that huge owl, I want to hold on and see if I can. Would I put that? That's actually on Facebook. Let me see if I can do something here real quick. And I want to show you that picture. I also want to show the thumbnail for Gemma's video for Monday too. And those who are just coming in, Wednesday night oracles will be changing to Friday nights at 7:15 to 11. Try to get your name in around 10. But we'll switch into Fridays now because of the little one going to school. Okay, let me find this picture. Hopefully I can find it for you. I'll put this up here. Poopy. I knew I'd do that. Wait a second. Oh, just quit. I hate when it does that crap. Okay, let me try again. Me and Facebook have been going around. It's one of the reasons why I left Facebook in the first place. That and I kept getting in trouble. Sorry, I can't see chat right now, so bear with me. Okay. Get out of my way. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, get that out of my face. I'll go back and log off later. Okay, let's go. Let's see. Let's do this. Hey, New England, how you doing, sir? It's right here. Shrink it down a little bit. Okay, let's make it a little bigger than that. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna show this to. I was gonna send this to you, and I saw this, and I immediately thought of you. Here you go. What do you think of that? Oh, I just got rid of a ding dong. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I hit it twice. No, I didn't. Okay. Let's try this again. Stupid dingy dongy dong. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I saw this and I thought of you, and yeah, because for some reason, and this thing with owls. What time on? Just the regular time, Chris. 7:15 to 11, just like on Wednesday nights. Or it's just her son's got to get up in the morning, so it's just going to be. She'll have to rush, and she doesn't like rushing, so we're just going to switch it. She's going to switch it to Friday nights, same time slot, 7:15 to 11. Try to get your name in there about 10. I was yeah. See, that's what happened to me the first time. I just kept getting in trouble. Then it kept screwing with me, so I just said I left. The only reason I came back was Gemma just kept that, kind of hinting, "Hey, come back so I can, tag you and shit stuff." So I said, "Okay." But I found this and I thought of you immediately. Do you like that? Yeah, I thought you would like that. For some reason, I saw it and I thought of you immediately. It was like, man, I'd like to find out. And what I might do is see if I can find. I'm going to take it and print it off and frame it and send it to you, because for some reason, every time I look at this, I see you. I think of you. And there was another one too, but this one stood out more, and it was really weird. But you have some kind of crazy connection, not only with wildlife, but specifically owls. And I would love to know why that is. Maybe that's your spirit guide animal or something. Because every time we talk about owls, I talk about owls with you and then bring them up, something starts clicking in my head. Is dogs. I want to say mine's dragon, but I don't know. I just I've never really paid. If it's anything, it's probably a salamander or a newt. Since I love amphibians, it'd have to be probably some kind of amphibian. But yeah, I saw that and like I said, every time we bring up owls or I bring up owls and ask you about owls, something clicks in my head. So it must mean something. And my husband thinks I'm a Disney princess. Oh, the wild animals come. Now, see, that's me. Just like Mike, Long Island Bigfoot. Animals seem to like me too. Mine is a dragon. I like to think mine is. She turned you into a newt. That's possible too. But yeah, see, that's the thing. And they do seem to follow you. Now, see, animals like me too. I have a connection with animals. And a lot of people say it's because I'm a soft soul, whatever that means. A lot of people think it's because of the things I see an animal. Like our dog, he's dad and Giles' dog. But that dog, when he knows that something's going on with me, he's right there. When I'm seeing, like, we have this neighbor, not the lady next door, but we have another neighbor that has an attachment that follows her everywhere she goes. And it's not good either. Every time Puff is with me and we see her, he stands real close to me. His tail stands straight up. And he's always real like, don't get any closer. to him, I'm gonna get you. Yeah, animals and children. It's just because their minds are so open. Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of people in this chat probably have a real good connection with animals because you sit in this chat when I come, like on Wednesday nights or soon to be Friday nights. I sit here and watch and take the lists, and even when I'm taking, I pick up stuff from people too, and it's amazing. And maybe it's because I'm here with Gemma all the time now, but I always have picked up on people really good. But it's weird. I've watched YouTube since its beginning, and it always amazes me because sometimes I see stuff in pictures. Somebody will hand me a picture, and I'll see something in a picture, and they'll go, "I don't see nothing, but it's right there." I have had in YouTube, especially when they started doing the live stuff and all that, even some videos, somebody be talking, and I can see something standing behind them. I love me some babies of any species. Yeah, I agree with that. There are times that animals are a lot better than being around humans. I'll agree with that. I'll definitely agree with that. At least you know with animals, you know where you stand. If you get what I'm saying. And little kids just run up and hug me. Now, see, I have that too. I get that around Christmas sometimes when I get my beard full. Kids will do that to me. But the biggest, and I'm not even a Santa Claus looking type. Um, with me, it's more strangers. I'll have strangers walk up to me and just start talking, just telling me everything is. And sometimes it annoys me, but I've gotten to the point now where I just interesting. And I talk back to them, and I always feel like I can feel them walk away, and they feel lighter. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like whatever happened between us took something off of them. I don't feel heavy. I know when they walk away, I don't feel like, oh, now I got all their weight on me. I don't feel like that. But it's obvious when they walk away, they feel better. Yeah. I've got hummingbird. We got the hummingbirds getting ready to move south, so they're really feeling up here. Now, hummingbirds will come up to you as long as they get to have a lot of contact with you. But this today, I was out in the backyard, and this hummingbird, I swear, I didn't have nothing. I wasn't holding any of the juice. This saying, well, my mom loved hummingbirds. Hey, Mike, behold, my mom loved hummingbirds. And this thing was flying around my face and around my shoulder. I was waiting for it to land on me. And it kind of felt like, hey, mom, what you doing? Because she had a fascination with hummingbirds. And now every time one comes in the window, they'll come up to the window and look in the window and go, oh, it's mom checking on us. Sanity. Yeah, it should probably be the new word of the day, huh? Sanity, behold, sanity. How you doing, sir? Yeah, they always say that, but I've had I've had deer come up and I'll be running the hose and all they want is a drink. I'll hold the hose out and they start drinking from it. And we have a lot of deer. When I was out working the day, there was like a herd of deer waiting to come up. They usually start working up the street as soon as the sun goes down. But I don't know how far they're going to come up tonight because, like I said, St. Michael's had, well, they're probably up here now because there was cars everywhere at the top of the street. And I find things are different now. They're hungry and scared. Yeah, that's a lot of it too. World's going crazy and they know it. Yeah, the reading she gave me the other night has me wondering and worried about about you, she said, was referring to, but granddaughter is who came to me. Had me wondering and worried about you. She was referring to, but my granddaughter is who came to me. That quote from Bugs Bunny is that your Santa Claus? Yeah, Santa Claus. It's an oldie. I love Bugs Bunny. I still watch Bugs Bunny. Sometimes I don't sleep and I'm tired of YouTube and reading books and doing research. You know, YouTube has them all, so I'll sit there and throw YouTube on and watch Bugs Bunny. Yeah, I've had that happen too. I took my son to the airport a couple weeks ago. He had a red eye flight. And it was about 4 o'clock in the morning when I pulled in. There was a bunch of deer in the yard, and I wasn't paying attention. I pull in the driveway, open the door, get out of the car, and I look up, and there is a doe standing right in front. I mean, I could have. I reached out and tapped her on the nose. She didn't run. She didn't do anything. I just said, "Well, honey, I got to go to bed. You have a good night." And she kind of walked with me while three other deer stood in the front yard with a bunny rabbit. I walked up to the door and turned around and said, "Good night, guys. Have a wonderful evening." And Hal just kind of looked at me and then went right back to their business as I went inside. Was it a good movie? I do want to see that movie, Chris, The Lost Voyage of the Demeter. I bet that is pretty good. Everybody gives it pretty good reviews, so yeah, they're everywhere now. Everywhere. I mean, they're real crazy here. Hey, why not? So you're not allowed to pour seed around here. I was going to take one of the old bird feeders and fill it up. I'm going to be a bird bath. I was going to take one of the old ones and fill it up with corn and put it somewhere. Yeah, it probably is, Chris, because we haven't really had a good one for a while. Last one I liked, well, it wasn't a Dracula movie though, but I really like 30 Days of Nights. But I also love the graphic novels too. We have all kinds of critters here in New Hampshire. Oh yeah, I'm sure you do. I always crack up at the video Gemma shows of the cubs playing up by her door. It's like I'd be cool with that. You just don't want to go out there where mommy's close because I guarantee you, mommy ain't gonna allow that to happen. Oh, 30 Days a Night. Yeah, it's one of my favorite vampire movies. The second one could have been so much better though. There's another one too I like. Which one was it? I want to get the name right. Oh, Near Dark. I like that one too. About the nomads. They ride around the desert. That's one of my favorites too. It was on the news here. We were where the fish and the game had red cottontail rabbits and let them all go all around the state. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we hadn't seen rabbits here for a while, but this summer, man, they have been everywhere. I talk to them all the time. We have we get in the mornings we get I don't want to call a flock of bluebirds that come in to hit the feeders, and then just a few of them come back at night. But the ones that come in the morning, there's a lot of them. I'll go out there and sit, and Dad will go out there and sit. They'll be right around him. He talks to him. I talk to him. Just an old hippie. An albino squirrel. Yeah, I've seen one around here, but that was a few years back. Growing up, who wait to be fed. That's like that one Anthony identified as for that he feeds and becomes his little buddy. I love this. It's all right. Giles, my son Giles, was taking care of his mom's house over the weekend a while back ago. Said he was standing on the back porch smoking a cigarette. Looks down the driveway and this huge rat comes out of nowhere. I don't know where that sucker came from, but it was bigger than a cat. He said, I went in the house and I didn't come out till I had to go to work. She goes, well, I called people. We don't know where they're coming from. She was freaking out. She says they got traps in the garage. They have no idea where they're coming from, but they're huge. I said, go get a boa. Go down to Florida, go to the Everglades, grab a boa, put it in the garage for a while. We have a neighborhood here that has the only black squirrel population in Ohio. Interesting. We get the red ones now. We didn't see a whole lot of the little red squirrels, but they've come back. And it's funny because the little red squirrels pick on the gray squirrels. It's funny. These little guys are feisty little guys. Oh, the doves. We get the mourning dove. Are you talking like the mourning doves? We have I don't know if it's the same one because I really don't know how long doves and birds lived. I know that's not like a very long life, but we always have this one dove or doves that always nest in our one part of this tree area. And they come off as dumb, but they're not as dumb as they act. But it's like they know us every year. They wait for us to put the feed out. I'll take some over and put some over by their nest. I like the little wrens, like the little Carolina wrens. I've become buddy with a couple. It must be like their generations to come back. But every time they come back, like the last couple of years, they hadn't even left. They just stayed all year. And I'd give them mealworms, dried mealworms. And as soon as I come out the door holding the jar, they're like right there waiting. Yeah, mourning doves. Doves are pretty pigeons, more or less. Yeah, the black ones are cool. Now, when I went to Colorado up to Estes Park to the ex's grandparents, they had the squirrels with the little fuzzies on their head, and they were like a red and black, like a rustic red and black. They were cool looking, and they were feisty too. Oh, the canaries, we get those here too, and we get the little yellow ones, like the little yellow finches, and we get the little yellow canaries, the little blue and yellow canaries. We still don't know where they come from. We only see them like at the end of the summer, and they come around this time. So I'm watching for them. I've been making sure there's thistle and stuff out for them. They don't stay long, and then they're gone. Yeah, some pigeons can be pretty. What if they all taste like chicken? Everything tastes like chicken. We got the ruby and the emerald finches. Yeah, we get those up here too. In fact, I plant special flowers so they can pull the seeds out. And it's always amazing, these birds. This thing is, the flower's stem is like there's nothing there, but they stay right on the top of that thing. It amazes me how they can balance on it. City chickens. Basically, I don't know if I'd call a pigeon a city chicken or not. Though I told Dad I'm thinking about getting chickens and putting a chicken coop out in the backyard. Have fresh eggs. Because after what I went through last week with the egg, and I love eggs, but I will not be ordering eggs from a restaurant anymore. You see, we do that. I do that with for the deer too. I try to keep the deer out front, so we plant a lot of stuff that the deer can eat. Yeah, and I always plant a lot of hummingbird and flowers and butterfly flowers out. I like the wildflower mixes. They always look pretty. It's good ground cover, and it draws in the wildlife. The only problem with the deer is now they come in, and there's so many of them that they literally just about eat everything. And we have one of those crabapple trees out in the front of our house. So they'll come and munch on that, which is nice. Pigeon nuggets from food trucks. That's nasty. That's like, to me, pigeons are the flying carp. Have you ever heard that? I had an uncle who used to tell me that all the time. All pigeons are flying carp. Not KFC chicken. Yeah, we have those too. In fact, we have I don't want to. I can't say the word, but there's these really nice flowers that grow on a trellis, and when they die off, the trumpet flowers take over. Man, they hit those things hard. Oh, hello, Donna. How you doing? You doing good? You're up awful late. Are you good, hon? You just missed. We just watched 2 of Gemma's old videos. Just woke up. I wish I could just wake up. Even when I was food poisoned, I only slept a couple hours, and it was like cat naps. That's good. I'm glad you're good. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. I'm good. Feel a lot better. I'm sure Gemma probably told you. But yeah, I'm good. I'll have to tell you stopped in tonight. She'll get a kick out of that. Yeah, it's almost 3. Yeah, it's not uncommon for us to go that late. There's been a couple of nights where we almost went to 4. Yeah, the water park. Man, she didn't take me. She didn't take me. Yeah, it looked like a pretty good park too. We are getting a Bojangles here soon. Yeah, the one my daughter did get an assistant manager one over here on the west side that they're going to open. They should be opening here real soon. Dad's ready. I'm ready because I haven't had Bojangles for a while. This is hope it's good as the ones I've had down in the south. I'm kind of hoping they were supposed to. We have an old drive-in restaurant diner that used to be down the road. They saved the sign because the sign basically is a historical monument. It's been there for like God ever. It's a big sign with an arrow. Anyways, they tore the building down. It's just a big hole now. Well, Chick Flicks was supposed to buy the place, but there's been some kind of legal thing. So somebody said that now Bojangles is looking at the spot. Now, I really would hope they'd take it. Either one would be good with me. I'm glad you stopped in, Donna. Yeah, we used to have two of them real close. We had Jerry's Drive-In and Don's Drive-In. Don's Drive-In used to be right at the top of the street. Best milkshakes ever. I mean, they used real ice cream, Hershey syrup. And that place, it was sad to see it go. Don's Drive-In was more of the classic drive-in. And we only have two actual drive-in movie theaters right now here. There's the one down south and then the one there. I still love to go to the drive-in theaters. But yeah, they had the best. They had a great cheeseburger too. They actually had a farmer that brought the meat in for them, so it was always fresh beef. Oh, do they, Chris? Oh, now you're making me hungry. Too late to eat. Just seeing if I missed anybody. But yeah, Don's was great. They had great. They were better than Jerry's. I'm still waiting for Popeyes. We got a Popeyes up here. When it opened, it was great, but it had slowly started going down. It's funny because I told Giles he likes Arby's. I said, "Don't you remember? Oh, you were too young to remember Racks because you had Arby's and Racks." We have too many food stores. Kmart's are gone. My mom was an avid J.C. Penney and Kmart's person. Oh, really? What a bummer. No Kmart's or Walmart's. I don't go to Walmart's. We have Myers here. We have Walmart's and Myers. I like Myers better, and it's a lot cleaner. I got a projector and watch movies out back. We used to do that too. You can actually rent them from the up at the Worthington Library. You could actually go rent a projector for a weekend, and they have a bunch of great old classic movies. There's only one K. There's only one Kmart left. Really? Where's it at? Well, see, there was a Kmart in Grove City, and it only stayed open because it had a Sears parts store on the side of. They closed our silver diner. That thing's been there since World War II. Sad day. Yeah, and it bums me out. We used to have a place up here called the Kahiki, which was like an Asian village inside of a building. It had the palm trees and the kiki statues everywhere. It was really cool and good food, man. But it was sad to see it shut down. Now we used to have a Woolworths and a Worldco. We had a Worldco in Graceland and a Woolworths up north. And you know what? Those stores had good food at their little diners. Oh, we still have drive-in movies here. Either me and Giles goes or I go at least once a month until they stop for the summer, unless they're not showing anything good. Right now, they haven't been showing a whole lot of good stuff. Now, I went a couple times at the beginning of the summer. They did it to you again. Clicked me out again. Yeah. See, now this is the problem. Now, I'm not having too much problem with the YouTube lately. Lately, for me, it's been Facebook. I mean, I'd have people and they just disappear off my list. It's like, how am I not a friend with this person? Did they unfriend me? That happened with Chris or Blue Crossroads twice and two other people. Well, you still have a no, not anymore. But we used to have a Woco's down here, and I miss that place big time. And the Woolworths are pretty much. I think they're both pretty much gone. Yeah, the burger and fries were awesome. Yeah. Oh, they had great pancakes too. This one had the Woco here had pancake, had a little diner in it, and it had pancakes. They had the works. They're great little diners. I love little diners, anyways. Mom and Paul places are the best. Yeah, there's a dive. There's two. We have two left, and there's one on the west side and the east side on drive-ins because they still have the flea markets during the day. So what we do is we go hang out, check out the flea market, just hang around. With the drive-in that's south of me, my daughter's ex, his family owns it. So if I get there early enough during the flea market, they just charge me to get $2 inside the flea market. And then they just let me stay after they clean up. I just find a parking spot where I want to sit for the movie. And I get in for $2. We used to take, when the kids were younger, we'd all get in the car and go. And Dad used to take us to drive-in, almost twice a year, 2 or 3 times during the summer. I saw Sinbad at the drive-in, all the Sinbad movies at the drive-in, quite a few John Wayne movies. Most of the Disney stuff I saw at the drive-in. Wish my hair would grow back. Yeah. Oh, they like to turn your notifications off. Yeah, that's why I try to tell Cindy, Gemma, sorry, Cindy. Gemma, to make sure you tell people to check your notifications because they do that to me too, but not as much as what's been going on with Facebook. Now, I had that problem with YouTube for a while with the notification things, and then it just stopped. Now it's Facebook that gives me grief. Oh, yeah, I know there was quite a few down there, Chris. Now, see, that's the ones I like, Black Dragon. Now, the little diners that get the fresh food. Now, like I said, when we used to go up to Sydney for the dirt races, and there's a lot of places we used to go check out that have some aunties and stuff that we go up there. There was his mom and Paul place, fresh food. If you got there for breakfast, you would actually watch the guys bringing in the fresh eggs and all that stuff. So you knew everything was fresh. Oh, most of the James Bonds at the drive-in wouldn't surprise me. They only had 2 drive-ins. Yeah, and it's sad to see him go because this is something I think if they just clean them up and redo them again, make them nice again. Now we had one up north and it became a porn drive-in. But the neighbors complained because they could look out the window. The farmers that lived out there complained because they could see the porn. So they had to shut it down. Sean Connery. In the day, I could see why. He's a scruffy old guy, man. He speaks his mind. Good old Sean Connery. The closest drive-in to me is in Hamilton. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. And then Amelia, yeah. Those are the only 2 left now? Or do you still have the 4? Yeah, I've been in Facebook. Yeah, see, when I was first on Facebook, I did it for my kids. I just got carried away. Then I had issues with Facebook. But I ended up in jail a few times there before it was a big deal. And then, like I said, I only came back was because Gemma asked me to come back. It's okay. He's been dead for years. Yes, he has. There was a porn drive-in in a small town in southern North. Really? Didn't know if it was still there. Yeah, there was one up here. It was funny because for a lot of time, people didn't even realize that's what it was. Because if you took 23 straight up north in Ohio, it was right off of 23. You could actually see there was one of those two screens. So you had one facing one way and one facing the other, but they didn't use the one that faced the highway, and they just doing down to one screen. And you could see the beam from the highway, but there was a bunch of farms around there. It was hilarious. Oh, you gotta stop. I don't my kids are starting to complain. No, they don't. See, that was the thing. When we came home from school growing up, as soon as you walked in the door, you put your books down and you went right back outside. You didn't come in till dinner. When Dad came out and whistled, because you could hear him whistle blocks away. And we come in, ate dinner, did homework, then we got TV time. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody. That's what we did. Yeah, it was like, and then when my kids were growing up, I did the same thing. My Giles will tell you, we came home from school, we had to go out and play. When it was dinner time, I would go out and yell, let them know it was time to come in. They came in, ate dinner. We sat around, did homework, and then the kids watched TV. We usually try to have them in bed between 9 and 10. And then in the summertime, if you were in the house, it was only because you were sick or something. If you were in the house all day long, it was either because you were sick or you were in trouble. Same thing with my kids. Or you were doing chores. Other than that, you were out playing. As of April 2022, only 3 Kmart locations remained in the United States: Miami, Westward, New Jersey, and Bridgehampton, and New York. Wow. I'm to tell Gemma, hey, I know where there's a Kmart at. I wonder where Westwood's at there. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, sick or grounded. Yep. That was the only way you got to stay, unless you were in trouble, like I said, grounded, or you were doing chores. Then when you were done, you were out the door. Yes, I was working young too. I was about the time I started. Well, when I was 12, after everything happened with me, with the hair and everything, I kind of chilled out a little bit. But Dad always told us boys, because I have 3 other brothers, you want extra money, you have to earn it. We're not a wealthy family. You know, we were considered low middle class, where I am at, or middle class to low middle class. So we had to earn our spending money. I cut grass. I babysat most of the kids in this neighborhood when I was growing up. Then I worked for the Worthington Inn under the table, washing dishes, because my brother lived upstairs at the inn. And when I was old enough to get a work permit, I got a work permit and started working for Bonanza. I ended up working with Bonanza / Ponderosa for like almost 15 years. Then I finally got the job that I wanted, which was a screen printing job, and worked for them for almost another 14 years or so before the doctors made me quit. Yeah, everybody had chores back in the day. You got up, you had certain things you had to do. And if you lived on a farm, yeah, you were up early doing. Because when I would stay with my uncle Water, he raised Angus beef, but a farm is a farm. You were up at the crack of dawn, and even before that, eating breakfast and heading out. I don't even have a work permit. See, I didn't. I worked when I was working at um, Woodington Inn. I didn't have a work permit. I was working completely under the table. But yeah, because I was in school, and when they found out I was leaving school and going to work, they were like, "Yeah, you gotta have a work permit." So, which was no big deal. And you were only allowed to work certain hours, but I always worked more than they were supposed to. But it was a way to keep because I'm so non always in motion. It was probably best that they let me do that. We got allowances for chores. I think it was 50 a week. Now, see, we didn't get allowance. I never got paid for it. Farmers only have kids for free labor. That's sometimes you would think that, but nah. Yep, every day. Um, yeah, we never got an allowance. But see, that was the thing. Even though we weren't financially rough, they always made sure that if we wanted to do something, if we didn't work and was able to make enough cash, they would either pay the difference or flip the bill. It's never bothered me because I always laughed at kids that got allowances. It's like, okay, yeah. So your mom and dad's giving you money so you can go waste it. What are you gonna do when they cut you off? This generation, you ask them to do anything, and the first thing that comes out of their mouths is, "How much are you going to pay me?" Yeah, pretty much. Or they give you an excuse not to do it, which I hear a lot of now too. Would you do this for me? Oh, I got this and this and this, but why aren't you doing this and this and this? Looks like you're sitting on your butt to me. I was making about 300 to 400 per week working on a farm. Oh, I would doubt it. I'd say so. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it here pretty soon. What time is it? I haven't even looked at the clock. Oh, it's 3:13. Wow. I'll call it at 3:30. I said that last time we went to 4. No, one night we did that night that we went to 4. I don't think I even went to bed that night. I think I tried and just gave up. And I'm getting quiet now too because I'm trying to keep up with chat. But chat's not even moving that fast either. Yeah, he was. Yeah, you get on somebody if you can find a farmer that needs help and they do pretty. But that was then. Farmers are hurting now. Then again, between Bill Gates and the Chinese buying up all that land, or they do it wrong and break it. Yeah, I agree with that, Cindy. You'd be lucky to get 200 a week. I don't know. I made good money when I was babysitting and doing lawns, and I was good at lawn care. I mean, groundskeeping work. I was good at making. I can make. I'm one of those green thumbers. So I was pretty good about getting people's yards all nice and cleaned up and planting flowers and kind of doing things that this lady had a bunch of dead flowers in her house. So I brought them home, and with about 2 months, they were all flourishing again. Took them back to her, and she freaked out. She's like, how'd you do that? And I go, just a little love and care. I'm right awake. Yeah, I'm too. Mike going, yeah, you have a good night, Mike. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. You have a good Sunday and a good beginning of the week. Have a good Labor Day. You know who we didn't have in tonight? Where's AK Willie? How come he didn't come in and tell us what was on the grill? I'm still trying to see. My problem is, see, I don't have issue where I have funky things happen when I'm asleep. It's the things I see when I'm awake. I would love to sleep for. I'll tell you. I told my kids, if I'm asleep for more than an hour and I'm not moving, I'm not rocking, I'm not flinching, you better check me. And now when I do sleep for an hour and I don't move, I wake up to my son going, Dad, are you okay? Or one time I woke up and he was actually holding a mirror over my mouth. I said, yeah, I must have been. He goes, you weren't moving, dude, which is good. And I didn't want to wake you, but it scares me. Yeah, where's Willie and his grill? Yeah, he's real well. He knows Sunday. I mean Saturday or Sundays, whatever you want to call this. Midnights here on is Gemma's replay. Sometimes he comes in on Saturdays, sometimes he doesn't. It's usually Friday nights. You probably missed us last night. I missed us last night. I just wasn't moving. Once night rolled around, I was like, should I or shouldn't I? And it was like, maybe better take the night off. Now, see, this will be weird. If we're going to stream oracles, I want to do this too. While we getting ready to leave, but we still have people in the room. Let me do this real quick. Okay, do this. Wait. Do this. Dun, dun, I'm wheezing. Okay, where'd that go? Okay, do this. Why are you being like that? Okay, go back. Okay, move this over. Okay, this is Gemma's Monday premiere right here. This is what's going to happen on Monday at 11 o'clock. So that's her premiere. Oh, you can't even see it. Mirrors and portals and haunted mirrors. Mirrors as portals and haunted mirrors. That should be a good one. You know, I had a mirror in this room before the fire. I used to cover it up at night. Anytime I had a mirror in my sleeping room, I would cover it at night. My last dream was about an FBI dying in my lap. That's weird. Oh, you looked for me last night. Yeah, I meant to ask Gemma to post something on Facebook to let everybody know I wasn't. I posted something on Facebook, but I meant to ask Gemma to put something in YouTube somewhere to let you folks know I wasn't. Man, I was feeling it. And I was going to, and like I said, it was just like, better not. My voice was still kind of off and on. I streamed with I sat in the background doing Pixie stream Thursday night, and even when I a little bit I talked for her, it was like talking with gravel in my throat. I have a huge mirror in my room. Why? Well, see, that's the thing. It's like there's people that have the mirrors over the bed. That would drive me nuts. That would drive me absolutely bonkers. My dad in the bedroom, the master bedroom in his room, they had a dresser set and all that, a bedroom set. And they had a big mirror on this big, huge dresser that was like right in front of their bed. And dad, when mom passed, he goes, "This is coming down." Well, when the fire happened, why did I cover the mirror? I don't know why, to be honest with you. And I see so much during the day and when I'm moving outside that I think I was afraid that I would look in the mirror and see something there too behind me. Was a lot of it, especially at night. Now during the day, I don't mind looking in the mirror, but at night, I always afraid that I see so many things following other people that I was always afraid. That's like me taking pictures. People taking pictures of me makes me nervous because I'm always afraid to look at the picture and see something stand behind me. And that's the same thing with the mirrors. And I don't know why at night, but it bothered me more at night. So I would cover the mirror. But during the fire, that they broke the mirror, so I didn't hang it back up in here. And it was an antique mirror. But I did it in my other. Um, I had an apartment, one of the apartments I lived in. The medicine cabinet in the bathroom was facing the door. So my room where my bed was in the other room. If I laid in bed, I could see that mirror. I'd actually go cover that instead of shutting the door. I'd just cover the mirror. I think a lot of it was because I see so much. And just like in pictures, I don't like looking at pictures of myself. Am I muted? No, I'm not. I'm not muted. Am I muted? Because I can hear myself. I'm gonna take this off here though. But that's her video for Monday. Can you not hear me? No, I'm good. Everything's on. Well, see, that's another thing. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Mirrors can be portals. But it's when I was in my teens, somebody took a picture of me and there was something standing behind me. Then I realized it wasn't me they were standing behind. It was the person that was standing beside me. But ever since then, I have a hard time, even when I take selfies. I don't want to look at them. But I just see so much during the day. It was just hard to. When I come home, I was afraid to have pictures taken of me, or because I'm always afraid that one of those things I see would follow me home. I'd be afraid at night, and it was always worse. It's always worse at night. Now it doesn't bother me anymore. But yeah, for the longest time, I did. I covered the mirror. In fact, the mirror that was in the bedroom with me before the fire, I'd still covered. I don't know why, but I did it. But I think a lot of it has to do is I'm always afraid to see something behind me. But yeah, my grandmother on my mom's side, she didn't like mirrors, and she always covered the mirrors at night. And she said it was so nothing passed through. But then again, it also goes back to when they had funerals, all the mirrors were covered in the house. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about, Cindy. Yeah, right there. They would do the same in our family. They would cover all the mirrors because they'd have to wake at the house and everything. They would cover all the mirrors with black cloth. Man, I'm yeah. So that was a big thing. But yeah, I did for a long time, and I think a lot of it too for me was just the fact that I didn't want to look in the mirror, especially at night, and see something stand behind me. Because you do, you see it when you see it, especially lately. As much as I've seen lately, following people, I do get worried about something following me home. I've never really had that problem. Not that I haven't seen things around here, but I'd say since I've been back in this house the last 7 years, the only person I know that's been in the house other than the lady in the light has been my mother after she passed. And I always know when she's here. There's she had this feel about her, and I always knew when she was here. And Dad would have he never talked in his sleep. Now he's talking in his sleep, and that's who it sounds like he's having a conversation with is mom. Where things didn't end right before they passed. There was some well, actually it was a lot of it was found out after she had passed with my little brother, and there was a little hostility there. He was sad to see her go, but he was mad. It was one of those situations. Yeah, actually, Black Dragon, a lot of people can. You stand in front of a mirror long enough and just stare into it, and if you do it in darkness, which I don't suggest, they do it in the South. Yeah, my family's done it as long as I can remember. Well, as long as they were having wakes at the house. Yeah, because I remember when my grandmother died, when my dad's mom died. They had it at a funeral home, and one of my cousins had a cow because the funeral home didn't cover any of the mirrors. Oh, she was freaking out. So she literally went around and made them cover all the mirrors. Oh, you had done it in the dark? Yeah, I wouldn't suggest it, but if you're confident and strong, you might be okay. But I've heard, I've seen some weird stuff doing it. Yeah, it's not uncommon. Yeah, it was a common practice. That's what always creeped me out is we had people that lived up the street from me. Now I've seen pictures at funerals and stuff, but they were from the Appalachian Mountains and all that too. But they would literally, like you see those in YouTube where they have the pictures of the dead people sitting with the family, the past, I should say, sitting with their families and stuff. They would have pictures. They had pictures like that, and it just creeped me out. Oh yeah, my family did too for a long time, especially my mom's side and a little bit on my dad's side, but mostly on my mom. Like I said, my mom's aunt who raised her, who we called grandmother, she was real superstitious. Yeah, sit in front of a mirror in the dark is an interesting subject because you can see a number of things. I've heard all different types of stories from people that've done it, from the scariest of scare stories to really enlightening moments for them too, other people. So I guess it depends on who you are and what you're reflecting. You know what I'm saying? They used to take pictures in the old days. Yeah, they did in this family, and it was crazy. I mean, the coffin, they had pictures of everything, and then they'd have them sitting with them. They had a picture of, I think he was an uncle or something, and all sitting there, and even he's got a jug of moonshine in his lap. And it's like, this is crazy. Do it in front. Yeah, that's another one. Do it in front of a mirror with the candle in front of you. Yeah, that's probably a real. Actually, there's a lot of rituals that involve that very tactic. Putting just you and a candle in a mirror in the darkness. And the key too is what I've always been told is you got to have. Now, when I did it, it was total darkness. There was no candle. It was just I knew, even though I couldn't see the mirror, I knew it was in front of it. I saw some stuff, but it was weird and hard to piece together. Mm. That what I thought, just superstitions. No, I'm not too sure. Yeah. Well, just like superstitions and legends and fairy tales and folklore, despite what everybody says, all these stories have got some kind of legit truth to them that it's either happened or it's to the one it's happened and it's just been stretched out and twisted over the years. But yeah, when I would pretty much, when I did some research on some folk tales and some grim fairy tales, longer when I was a kid, I found a lot of those stories were actually very close to true events that had happened at that time. And they were supernatural events too. You saw things you wouldn't repeat. Yeah. See, now the things I saw was just kind of weird futuristic stuff. Like I was seeing the future, but it didn't feel like the future. It was like maybe it looked into another dimension. Maybe I don't know. But that was a while ago. I never did it since. And now that adds back to the fact that, like I said, I always, even when I'm in the bathroom cleaning, I try to do my thing in front of the mirror and get out because I'm always afraid I'll see something behind me because I see it behind a lot of other people. I'm just waiting that one time. And then I wonder if I see something behind me, am I going to be able to pick up on what it is like I do with other people? If that makes any sense. What time we got here, folks? I'm starting to poop out. I'm not really pooping out. I'm going to have to get up and start moving my legs. I'm starting to get the tremors again. I'm trying not to take any more med. Actually, I'm trying to do away with a lot of the meds, which isn't that many, but it's like 2. But I'm getting tired of taking them, and they feel like they don't do any good. And I'm getting kind of tired of them. There's only one that really works, and that just calms me down enough to get me through what I need to get done. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and call it. It's 3:33. What a time to stop. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Lord. It's 3:34 now. I was going to say it's 3:33. I think it's definitely time to stop. You're trying to avoid sleep, but don't avoid it too long. Because believe me, from a guy who doesn't sleep the greatest, your body's going to need it sooner or later. So try to find a good time. If you can't sleep at night, try to find a good time during the day to rest and let your body rest, because you do need it. Even I need it. And believe me, there's been times where I've gone 3 or 4 days, 5 days without sleeping at all. Relax you. I do sometimes, but see, that don't even help anymore. And you know, when I do that, when I was younger, I was a big pothead. I ain't gonna die, but I worked, so I had my priorities right, and I had fun. I had fun. Now it's pretty much for medicinal point reasons, and it's usually if I can't, if the tremors get super bad, I'll smoke, or the rocking is really bad, or the pain is really bad. But I've gotten so much over the years to be able to really adjust to it. And I have a pretty good pain threshold anyway, so I don't worry about that as much as the movement things. But yeah, if it gets real bad, that's usually what I end up having to do. But it never puts me to sleep. Never. It just relaxes me. When we sleep, we heal. Yes, that is very true. It is important to sleep. That's why I try to sleep. At least try to get an hour in or something. And it's so nights that I don't sleep, that I'm up for days. I regret it and I suffer for it, but it's like if I try to sleep, it just makes it worse. So I just kind of go with the flow. I with my body, I literally go with the flow now. It's the only way I can say it. And then I do whatever I need to do to give me some kind of least physical free, because they told me not too long ago there's not much more they can do for me. Just try to make me comfortable, which is I'm okay with. I've dealt with it since I was 2. And any longer is not going to make any difference. I'm just worried about what my mom has to tell me, I guess. You will, and you'll eventually get your answer. Just keep that in mind, that if you feel she is trying to tell you something, Cindy, just try to stay open to that. If she can't get it to you in your dreams, and if it's important, she'll find other ways to tell you. Believe me, if it's really that important and it's got you concerned, but just take it slow, and don't. I've also learned sometimes it's better to just kind of let it go, because when you let it go, sometimes it's like when you're looking for something, you lose something, and you spend hours and hours of looking for it, and then when you finally give up and say, "Okay, I'm done," that's when you find it. It's like other things too. Sometimes if you don't, you're trying and keep trying, but maybe if you just kind of back up a little bit, take a breath, focus, kind of clear your mind of your worries, that might help too. That's what I always do. If I know something's trying to go on, I can't accomplish something, or there's something that I need to know and I can't get anywhere, I take a step back, take a breath, kind of clean my mind out a little bit, kind of relax myself if I can, and just kind of slowly start over again. A lot of times it works, but everybody's different. So, you know, go with the flow. That's like I said, go with the flow. And actually, I started saying that more and more, because that's what the lady in light tells me about certain things. She'll say, go with the flow, just go with it. Good news or bad news, if it's important, they'll find, or she'll find a way to for you to know one way or the other. And try not to look at, don't let that don't dwell on it. It could be, oh, it could be bad news. I don't want bad news. Don't dwell on that. You know, that's when that positive thinking comes in. You know, because you really don't know what it is until you start either getting more hints. Yeah, well, some people like that. Follow that energy. I'm more of the flow with the go with the flow guy. I think that's why the lady in the light tells me that, because I tend to go with the flow. Because I always look at both sides, and sometimes that can be a distraction in itself. So she tells me just to go with the flow. It's okay to look at both sides. Do that and get it done, and then let it sink in, and just go with the flow. If that makes any sense at all. Now I know I'm getting tired. But I think I am going to call it night, folks. It's 3:40. I think I'm ready to go pace around a little bit, stretch the legs, take a little mess. I think I'm going to have to do a little mess, and I don't want to, but I guess I'm going to have to. But I usually walk around for about an hour before I go to bed and see if I can sleep. So that makes it about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So 5:30. So everybody have a wonderful Sunday. I've always had more people come to me in my dreams. And that happens. Sometimes a lot of people get a lot of their messages in their dreams. So yeah, just relax, Cindy. Let it flow. And if you can't get that message that way, I'm sure they're going to try to find another way to tell you. Because see, that's like with Aunt Edna. I really think these owls are trying to tell her something. Specifically, the owls are trying to hint to something. But she hasn't talked, you have to go with it and see what comes of it. Sometimes you can do everything you can to try to get an answer, but it's really up to the messenger to get you that message. And all you can do is be patient. So good night, everybody. I hope my ramblings helped a little bit. It was a good night, folks. I want everybody to have a wonderful Sunday. Have a great Labor Day. I'll see you at 11. I hope for Gemma's premiere of the Mirrors as Portals and Other Dimensions. And we won't see you Wednesday night. We won't be streaming Tuesday, I don't think, because that's little man's first day at school. So Friday night, unless we all stream Thursday nights with Pixie. I'm not sure yet. So you have Pixie, Laura on Thursday night at 8. I don't know if I will be there because I usually sit in the background for her. Sometimes I'm with her. But I don't know if Gemma will be there that night. Then Gemma will be streaming Oracles Friday night, 7 to 11. I don't know if I'll do my thing at midnight because that's a lot. Sitting there taking names all day and then only getting a little bit of an hour between streams. If she doesn't do it Wednesday, if she does start it Friday, like I think she said she was starting it Friday, I'll take this Wednesday off, and instead of doing Friday nights, I'll do Wednesday nights if everybody's cool with that. So I'm not getting off with her, then sitting around and getting right back on again. Watching her wears me out, believe it or not. And the last couple of times I've streamed with her, I've had some good nights and some bad. And last Wednesday, man, I felt bad because I was in a great mood. Even when I was sitting there sick, I was in a good mood. It's just my belly was just not operating. So everybody have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful Monday. I will see you hopefully all on Monday at 11. And then Thursday or Friday. And maybe I'll pop up on Wednesday. We'll see how things go. Much love to you all. And I will see you guys all on the flip side. Please be safe out there. And please be good to each other, okay? Good night, folks.